just wait for a couple of people to get in this chat, see what's going on. Because we're actually on time. This is probably my second time on time ever. So. Play with this a little bit. Yeah, so what have you been up to lately? You can go ahead and catch me up in the meantime.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I started a new series, I guess you would call it, on my channel, Midday Chats with Shan. I've been liking that. Been having uncommon and uncomfortable conversation over my channel in the midday time. That's the only thing new that I've been doing lately.
Wait, what uncomfortable conversations? What are you guys talking about?
Well, we talk about obesity amongst Black women.
Oh,
Apparently,
yeah.
55% of Black women are obese. I had a nutritionist on the other day to talk about, tips that we can do to no longer be obese. What else we talk about? Oh, we talk about how Black women have been reproducing with the dusties, and then they turn around. So a lot of uncommon conversations. A lot of uncommon conversations.
How are the views on these topics? That's what I want to know.
They've been good. They've been good in the daytime. I'll get probably anywhere from 150 to 200 people in there engaging. The thing is, because these conversations are so uncommon, people are not they're drawn to it because you don't hear these often.
Right. No, that makes sense. That even if they hate it, they're still gonna watch it. I mean, even if they hate
exactly. Exactly. So on YouTube, I'm seeing me, and then I'm also seeing.
Right. No, I know. No, I know. I just wanted to make sure that you could see me before, because I didn't want you to be talking to yourself. Oh. But now that that's there, we can just go ahead and do this.
Okay. Yeah.
And now we're rocking and rolling, and and I can always just simply put a split screen through here too. So I'm just trying to get into the chat real quick because that's always an issue. So I just want to make sure I can see the chat. That's it. That I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm gonna introduce you, and then we can get into it. I'm gonna let you, first tell us about your channel.
Okay. So as I briefly said earlier, I'm Chantal, and I use my channel to have uncommon conversations with young ladies and Black women. So we can brainstorm ways of how we can be better at dating and relationships by having certain topics from a man's perspective, from men's point of view. Um, that's basically what I do over there. I blindly followed the feminist movement and went to school, get my education, didn't focus on boys, just focus on all the books. And then when I got to the age where I wanted to get married, I realized that I wasn't qualified, for lack of better words, for marriage because I wasn't taught how to be a wife. So these are things that I have to be learning now.
Yeah, and it feels like it's kind of late. Like it should have been the first time around.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm 30 now. I wish these are things that I had learned at 10. But, you can't go back and change what you didn't learn. You can only move forward with the knowledge you know now. And I would hate to see young girls repeat my mistakes. So that's why I use my channel to tell my story, even though it might be, some might consider embarrassing, but hey, if it saves a young girl from repeating that, um, I'll risk being embarrassed.
I mean, I don't know how that could be seen as embarrassing because, for example, I would say one of the things that I appreciate the most about your channel, or I shouldn't say about your channel, but about you as an individual, because there's other things that I like about your channel, but the things that I like about you as an individual is that you're coming from a perspective of, I had this flawed ideology, and I accept and acknowledge that it's flawed, and I want other women to also course correct. And I think that that's what's missing in women 10, 15 years older than you, who not only do they have to accept and acknowledge that this is the wrong path, they've already suffered the consequences of it, and they're still not sharing it with younger women. It's like, wow, how selfish is that? That you see what I'm trying to say? Like,
Yeah.
you could be telling these young women, listen, focus on relationship, on building a family unit with a man now, and you can always go back to school and get the degree. You can always go into the
Mm-hmm.
career force because those aspects of life and accomplishment are not as age sensitive. Who's saying that a woman has to get a degree in her early 20s? Why can't you get the
Mm-hmm.
degree in your early 30s? But the children, that's
Mm-hmm.
non-negotiable. That needs to be in your early 20s, and you giving your most valuable years to a quality man, that is age sensitive. You can't wonder why men that are 40 do not want to commit to women that are 35. You cannot ask that ridiculous question without first admitting that you do not care about the opinion or the preferences of the very same man that you expect to provide this life and stability for you. It's a slap in the face. Like, you want what I worked for, but you don't care about what I want. So yeah, so I've appreciated that you are being selfless in that way, and I look to the women that are 39, 38, 40, 42, 44. They're going through it, and I'm like, why are you not going out of your way to get on TikTok or Instagram and tell these young women what they need to hear at 22, 23?
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, if you think about it, no one wants to admit that they, hey, I made a mistake. It takes a big person. And not to say that I'm just like so much better than those women, but because I'm sure there are other things. If I was to really self-reflect and
Mm.
look in, there are things that I probably won't talk about. So it takes as you said, selfless and humility to say, hey, look at all my mistakes, and then you risk people pointing and laughing at you. So I understand why they don't want to like create pages. However, are they telling these women in their families? You know, are they telling their nieces and their cousins like, hey, don't don't make these mistakes? And I don't think they are, because we see the younger girls repeat. I think it's worse now,
Yeah.
because we see those boss chicks and everybody, even when they're like in their teens, early 20s,
Yep, that's already
they're
what they
wanting to
want.
be boss chicks. Yeah.
I mean, that's all I do is interview women most of the time, and that's something that I'm definitely noticing is that the decision to not put any effort or energy or investment into relationships for the young women is coming earlier and earlier. I got girls 17 and
Mm-hmm.
18-year old tell me that. I'm like, wow. And they're talking from like a position of as if they've had experiences. They're like, yeah, I had ex-boyfriends, I had bad experiences. I'm like, yo, you're 18. What experiences? Oh, I had an ex-boyfriend. What's the longest you ever been with a guy? Oh, a year. And they consider that a long-term relationship and a bad experience. I'm like, you have the entire your entire dating life ahead of you, and you're already cashed out because of something that happened in high school. This is unbelievable. So this is the message that the girls are getting, and if I can make a similar comparison, right, with something that I've been trying to point out for the longest of why I think that boys and girls shouldn't even go to school together, and that girls should have female teachers and boys should have male teachers. Because not only is this my opinion and my experience, but the research is already there. Boys, little boys, do not stare at women. They don't pay attention to what women are doing. They're interested in what adult men that they admire are doing. When I see little boys with their single mother and I pass by in public, they're always staring at me and breaking their neck. As I walk past them, they're turning their neck, as they walk past. Sometimes they even point and say, Mommy, look at his muscles. They're focused on me because I have something that they want. So already they're thinking to themselves, how can I get like that? Like when I grow up, I want to be like that. When we were little boys in the neighborhood and certain cars would come through, we would always look at the guys that are driving those cars and say, yo, that's my car. I'm gonna have that car, but I'm gonna have it in red. So the point I'm trying to make is that young boys haven't gone through puberty yet. We don't care about women. I hate to say it that way, but boys don't even start noticing girls until puberty. So who we're focused on, fixated on, is the men that we want to be like. And that's who we're going to listen to. So when it comes to teachers, coaches, mentors, role models, boys are going to listen to men. That's who they're going to want to learn from. If you're giving them female teachers and only a single mother, they're going to zone out. They're not trying to hear any of that because they're not trying to be you. They're not trying to be a female when they grow up. So they don't really care what you have to say. But equally, the young girls also don't really care about guys yet. They're only paying attention to what the older girls are doing. So they're like, yo, look at this girl on Instagram with 50,000 followers and 3,000 likes on a picture. I want to be like her. And that girl's talking about being strong, independent, and how she don't need no man, and the last thing she needs is another toxic relationship, and blah blah blah. So before these women or girls are even going through puberty and starting to like boys, they're already being programmed and conditioned that men should be the least of their priorities, and that already men are their enemies, and what they need to focus on is getting the bag.
100%. And I talked about that last week on my show. I did a show about um, um, normalizing class in the Black community. It's funny you said that girls should go to all girls school, because I went to an all girls school when I was
Mm-hmm.
living in Jamaica. But I did have male teachers. But we at that school we were taught how to sit like ladies, how to dress like ladies. We had to wear a slit under or a skirt. We can't curse. Like, there are certain things, how to carry
Mm-hmm.
yourself like a lady, and those are all those things that I see are missing in
Missing,
society
exactly.
today. And as you said, these young girls look up to other women to as idols, to help them guide the way to see who they want to be like. But unfortunately, a lot of these women with large followings and who are impactful are showing their bodies half naked on social media. They are saying that they can't date a 9 to 5 man; they have to date a scammer. And they're spreading all these toxic narratives to these young girls. That's why I use my channel to try and
Remedy.
bridge balance. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not telling young girls that you have to do it this way, but at least you have an option. You can choose if you want to post half naked, or you can choose if you want to be a lady. And here's what a lady looks like, and here are the qualities of a lady.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree 100%. And it's just, I mean, taking away those role models, man. I hate to beat that dead horse, but I don't think that horse is dead. I think that horse is very much alive and it's running in the wrong direction. But not having that balanced house with both parents is like, it's a tragedy because the the only way that the single parent thing is gonna work is if the single parent that is present does an exquisite job of explaining the other gender. So if it's a single mother, she has to do an amazing job of explaining to the daughter what are the attributes and qualities of men that she should be looking for and recognizing. What are men at their best? But when you only describe men at their worst and you only give energy to the negative things that some men do or that men could potentially do, you're not painting a balanced uh, representation of the man, of the masculine. You're just basically saying men are a threat to you. Men potentially do all these things, or they're guaranteed to do these things. It's like the only list they give women are the things that men are guaranteed to do that are bad, and the things that they might do that are bad. But where are the lists of their positive traits and their positive qualities? It's not even being represented in that single mother dynamic. And then the same would be needed if it was a single father. He would have to also go out of his way to say, this is what a good woman would look like. This is what positive femininity is. This is how you determine it. This is how you look for it, find it, and this is how you treat it as a man. This is how you conduct yourself with ladies, and so on and so forth. So we're not getting that type of education in the house. And nowadays, the single parent isn't even really there. They're not even really present. They're probably off at work most of the time, as it is, to be honest. I turned up the audio some. Some guys were complaining about audio, but I did turn it up, so hopefully it's loud. Guys, let me know if you hear us loud enough now. Go ahead, Chantel. Wait, your audio is out. Oh, you're on mute. You're muted. You're muted.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
Can you hear me
yeah,
now?
yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I 100% agree. I think that if okay, so we cannot continue to just say, single moms are bad, single moms are bad, without giving them solutions, right?
Right. Of
You
course
already
not.
have the child, you already did what you did. Unfortunately, you can't go back in the past and change the past. But we also have to acknowledge that as single moms, we can't do it on our own, and a woman cannot teach a boy how to be a man. But in society today, it's like, um, these single moms think they can. They think they can do everything, and to not want to admit that, hey, I need help, or to admit that I'm not as equal to a man, and I don't know these things that men go through. I don't know how men think. Um, they think that that's being weak. And then it also goes back to the point that we touched on earlier, why these women don't want to admit their mistakes. It's because it's called weak in our society. Admitting that you made a mistake. And we're doing a huge disservice, because we see these single moms raising extremely feminine energy men.
Yeah,
And it just it
yeah.
is.
And
Like,
and very disrespectful women, because to me I see so many similarities in the gender war and the race war. Because when you go back, 50, 60 years, why did white people think that they could treat black people that way? Because they were raised to view them as that. They were given nothing but negative depictions of them, negative images of them in the media, in the newspaper, and on whatever TV or whatever technology they had at the time. And they were basically conditioned from a young age to believe that you can talk down to them, you can degrade them, you don't have to respect them or value them. And then when you look at the message that young girls are getting today, it's the same for men. Oh, because they're men, they're toxic. Because they're men, you don't have to respect them. You don't have to listen to them. Their opinion don't matter. You're muted again.
I'm agreeing. I tend to mute myself, because every time I'm always like, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
no, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, let it ride. Let it ride. Let it ride. I mean, we're always respectful, so it's not a problem. But the energy is conditioned. So what happens is, even when the women like a guy, they don't know how to be respectful. And if you say, listen, you know what, you're being very disrespectful, they're shocked. They're like, how am I disrespecting you? And it's like, it's in your entire tone, your body language, your energy is disrespectful to men in general. It's not even a personal thing. It's like, it's not even this guy in particular. It's just, this is how you feel about men. You know what I mean?
And that was honestly my issue. I remember my last long-term not last long-term relationship, but the one right before I started thinking, I guess you said red pill aware, or start asking those uncomfortable questions and start, self-reflecting. I was in the relationship, and I was like, what do we do here? Like, what is my role? Are we just sitting here splitting the rent? And like, I don't know what am I. Like, I'm being 100% honest. I remember clearly, this was right before I moved to Dallas. I was just, the relationship was coming to an end, and I was, reflecting and saying, like, I don't understand my role in a relationship. I don't know how to make a relationship work. And then when I started doing my research and realizing that we were told completely wrong, we were all told to keep our guards up. We were all told men are the enemy. And if not, if we weren't told that directly, indirectly we were told, always have your own. A man will cheat on you, so never fully depend on a man. A man will probably abuse you, so have your guards up. Just by getting those advice, we're indirectly being told that men are the enemy, and to not have anything positive told to us about men is like, how can we enter a relationship and get these healthy black loves that so many of us want with our guards up to the person that we're in a relationship with? And I mean, to be honest, that was 100% me, because my mom told me all of that. That's why I was pushed to go to school and get my education, so I never have to depend on a man, so I can always have my own just in case I need to leave. And as we said earlier, at this age, I'm relearning, reprogramming my mind, and learning how to enter my relationships in good faith.
Quick shout out to dhaven for the $10 super chat. No comment, but I already know that he likes he likes you, Chantel. So he likes your content. So I know what that's about. Because there were some people that were excited. So you definitely are making like a name for yourself in the space. And I'm not surprised at all. I saw that coming from many months ago. I was like, okay, this is gonna hit. This is gonna hit. So I was loving it. You being Jamaican was just like icing on the cake. But I was like, okay, yeah, she going to the top. Another person that I like a lot is Six, and I think I saw that you guys did something together. Six the Goddess.
No, I did something with Danica. I've never worked with Six.
Oh, well, I would love to see it happen. I don't know what kind of relationship you guys have, but I think that would be very interesting. And I would have loved to have seen her weigh in on that overweight topic, that obese thing. I think that would have been really interesting. Because I mean, she does bring that up a lot too, so definitely would have been
Yes.
interesting.
It's one of those situations that we don't want to talk about. I am also a personal trainer. I don't say that a lot. So when I originally started my channel, I was doing personal training, how to pass the NASAM, topics. And then, once I transitioned over how to become the best version of herself, how to look within and do the work, then of course health and fitness is a part of that. And the amount of backlash I got from black women, like, why are you not talking about black men, or oh, you're just intimidated by BBWs. It's just like those talking points. It's really concerning. Especially because 55% of black women are obese, and we all know
Yeah, but
the risk of
they don't look at
BWs.
it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Trail of Thoughts. Him saying love you like cook food, girl. That's what he said.
Oh,
That's what he said.
oh,
Oh my
thank you.
god. No, but you know what? See, look, like somebody saying in the chat that like, basically they're just saying that like Jamaicans that migrate to America, they have like just different behavior and how they carry themselves. But I think what it is that I think what's a little bit different about Jamaica, especially compared to the other islands, but more so English speaking culture, is that Jamaicans are very brutally honest about themselves as well as other people. You
A
understand what I'm
hundred
saying?
percent. Yes,
Like the
yes.
amount of times where a girl would say, "Yo, Truma ugly,"
Yeah.
and when you think in this society, in American culture, what woman is going to start a sentence by acknowledging that she is unattractive
Mhm.
physically? You
Mhm.
understand what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like
Mhm.
that type of self awareness. So I mean, and the guys are the same way too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, my mom got
Mhm.
what can't work. Yo, so what guy's gonna start off
Exactly.
saying? Yeah, I know I'm too skinny, but so we have like a compensation type of mentality where we
Mhm.
already know we have to compensate for our shortcomings. You understand what I'm trying to say? And even when you come here, you have the attitude of now that I can work, now that I can find employment, I'm gonna work every hour of the day that's available to me,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Because I'm not gonna give up this opportunity. Because true, when I'm in Jamaica, I don't have the work available to me, and I
Exactly.
think that's what Black people here are missing. Because when I was a kid, that was something that I would hear my family saying all the time. Like I'm just overhearing the conversations and when they're talking to each other. And they say, yeah,
Mhm.
we gotta work it out, mama. Come, I can't get you over here. I mean, no, say you can't outwork this them Yankee because them lazy. This is
Mhm.
this is the way that I'm just being real. This is the way, and I know another podcast got into a lot of trouble for saying that, but it's like I'm not saying that. I was raised here. I got here at
Mhm.
5, but I'm just saying that the attitude and the tone in my family was to make sure that you have a clear distinction between you and American blacks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I saw it in the African culture. I saw it in the Haitians. I saw it in the Trinidadians. We all view American blacks as lazy. And this ain't
Mhm.
coming from me. Like I said, I was raised here. This is who I went to school with. This is who my friends were. This is who I dated. It was Americans. But I'm just telling you how colored people from other countries, whether they want to admit it to you or not, this is how we see American, or this is how they see American blacks. And unfortunately, that's how a lot of other people see it. I don't
Mhm.
care if we're talking
And
about Jews, Italians, or whatever. They see American blacks as lazy.
And we all know it's because of the stereotype. It's what's put out there in the media. But especially with the older generation, that's the narrative that they have for African Americans
Right.
in the country. And then it also goes back to, because we in Jamaica, we don't have no government assistance. If you're hungry, you're hungry. You better climb somebody mango tree
Or
if you
make
want help
friends.
with
Or you
any,
have to have good
or make
relationship. You have to rely on your
exactly.
neighbors.
Exactly. You can't go to the government for no food stamps. There's no food stamps or WIC or anything in
You need your
Jamaica. So
baby father in there.
yeah,
You
you
need to
need
work it
him.
out.
Exactly.
You
So
need to.
to be over here and see all these resources and see, government assistance, even though for African Americans, they might not consider that as, oh my gosh, all these great resources. You got to think we're coming from a third world country where we can't
Yep.
call our government for help. So what you looking at as oppression, we're looking at as opportunity. So
Yep.
when we come over here and
Exactly.
when we come over here and witness you not taking advantage of all these opportunities, then we're titling it as being lazy. But as I said, it's mostly in the older generation. Like it would be like my grandparents mindset. And it's not only like a black, a Jamaican and African American thing, because we all have those beef and little stereotypes when it comes to other countries in the Caribbean too.
Well,
But I mean, honestly, it just is what it is. Just like how they have stereotypes about us, I can't tell you how many times an African American talk about, how you Jamaican and you don't smoke weed, or did you
yeah,
have
yeah,
a
that
lot
used
of
to kill
cruise when
me.
you
Yeah, that used to kill me. I'm like, yo,
yeah.
weed is a jailable offense in Jamaica. What are you talking about? Up until recently.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when we have these conversations, a lot of us tend to look at it just one sided, because even last night I witnessed they were having this conversation on a platform, and a guy called up, and I guess he was losing the debate, and he started like just disrespecting the guy on the panel who was Haitian, saying you have a Haitian face and you ugly and that's why you look Haitian and stuff. Is like,
What?
do African Americans not see the disrespect they have towards us as immigrants? So many people in the chat was saying, "Go back to your country." It's like, okay, so this conversation. That's why I don't even participate in this conversation. ADOS versus Black immigrants, because it's always so one sided. Somebody gonna get in their feelings, and then before you know it, insults are being thrown.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's that low vibration, but
Yeah.
I mean, anytime you invite the government in, they're gonna divide and conquer. They're gonna separate
Mhm.
you in as
Mhm.
many different classifications as possible. They're gonna say, first, let's separate you by color. Then let's separate you by gender. Then let's separate you by, the country you migrated from. Then we separate you by religion. Now we're gonna separate you by age. Now we're gonna separate you by neighborhood. Now we're gonna separate you by income. It's like, how many different ways can we separate you? Okay, now we're gonna separate you by what football team you like. It's like, good lord, it's just it's just division. And for example, men generally speaking, the overwhelming majority of fathers, they pride themselves in providing for their children. Nothing feels better than your children asking for something and you have it, you got it. Either you got it to spoil them, or you got it to say, listen, you want this, you need to bring me home a good grade, or you need to do 50 push-up, or you need to, you know what I'm saying? Now I
Yeah.
can now I
Yeah.
can incentivize you, and I can teach you a lesson now because you want something and I can afford to give it. But if I can't afford to give it, then I lose that mechanism. I lose that leverage. Well, it's the same way that when the man can afford to give it, but the government is involved because the woman involved the government now. So when he give the child support money, he don't get the satisfaction now, because it's not
Mhm.
him saying, let me take my kids out, let me buy them, take them shopping, let me buy them everything they need for school, let me buy them a new toy, let me buy them, what they want to eat in the house. I can't do that now because you put the judge in between us, and it's the judge now telling me how much I got to give, and there's a middleman. So I don't get to hand it off to my kid. I don't get to have that time and that experience with my child. So it's like Santa Claus. You don't know the kid don't even know where it's coming from now. So now this kid's being provided for, but they're not making the connection that this is coming from my father's sacrifice, from his hard work, his labor. This is coming from my mother now. So you have a lot of women now that are taking the credit for what the father's doing indirectly because she involved the judge, and the child have no idea who keeping gas in that car, no idea who paying the bills and keeping the lights on. It's the child support money that's coming in.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm
Mhm.
trying to say?
Yeah, and I can only imagine it from a guy's perspective. Like, you want to provide for your kid, but you have to go through the government first in order to provide. It's like, I can only imagine it, but unfortunately, a lot of women don't try to see things from men's perspective. Don't try to
Yeah.
see, okay, how would he feel, or how would I feel about this if I was in his position, because there are no incentives to humble ourselves. and think of things from men's perspective. If we really want to be honest and think about it, everybody's on our side. Even the whole believe all women mindset, the thing that happened with Chris Brown just the other day. Like, this girl was lying, but Chris Brown's name was being dragged over the internet.
Yeah.
And when it came out that she was lying, there were no consequences, no nothing. She just said oopsies and walked away. Like, that's the society we live in. It was so unfortunate.
Yo, I think somebody's asking, do you accept Bitcoin? I don't know if they're talking to me or you. If you accept Bitcoin.
Oh no, I do not.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither, man. We don't know how to do that fancy stuff yet. I don't know how to accept no damn Bitcoin yet. I'm mad that I wasn't accepting Bitcoin from before. People trying to give it to me years ago. I'd be rich. But I said no. I don't know what that is. I don't want to, make a mistake. So yeah, I denied it. But so we have to kind of start to think, all right, more solution orientated. It's like, what can we do? I mean, obviously, the conversation has to come first. I mean, obviously, we have to start having the conversation first. But I'm seeing a lot of stubbornness, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, where is the cutoff point? Like, what is the age where you say, all right, you're too old to get you to make a change? What is the age demographic that we're supposed to be focusing on to try to make a change? Because I feel like even the young people today, because this is what I'm seeing with the guys, and it's really starting to irritate me. The guys are starting to literally become the male version of what the females are and what the females are saying. So 3 years ago, 4 years ago, it was MGTOW. MGTOW is the female, is the male version of feminism. And when they were saying that, it didn't make any sense for anybody that was familiar with the manosphere and the talking points and the ideology, and especially if you're familiar with MGTOW, you're like, that doesn't correlate. You're just saying anything. That's like you saying, okay, this one's pink, so the boy version is the sky blue. Like, no, you're thinking so fucking small, because there's no correlation in what you're saying. Feminism is basically trying to bring men down a notch to bring women up under the pretense of equality, which can easily be disproved because nothing that they're arguing for is equal, and they're literally trying to take it from men and give it to women. Take rights from men and give them to women. Take resources from men and give it to women, and take credibility from men and give it to women. Don't believe men, but believe all women. So you see that common concept in feminism is less for men to give it to women, so it could be more for women. That's literally the opposite of equality. And it's like, men have to work for these positions, but we're going to just give it to women so that there's an equal amount of women in the position as the men. But it's like, wait a minute, the men got there by earning it, though. They had to compete against other men. They didn't get there just because they were men. But that's how they pass it off as. They pass it off as, oh, they're here because they're men, so we have to put an equal amount of women there just because they're women. It's like, whoa. The men that are there did not get there simply from having a Y chromosome. They got there from beating out other people applying for that position, whether they be male or female. So in order to get an equal amount of women there, women would have to be just as interested and just as competitive. And then when you look at what MGTOW was saying, MGTOW is basically a response to the side effects of feminism, where men are just saying, listen, we can't win. The game is rigged. Since you guys don't want to play by any type of fairness or any type of rules that we can agree on, we're just going to choose to opt out. We're going to choose not to participate in a game that's not fair, and we're going to go elsewhere with it, men going their own way. And they say, oh, that's the male version of feminism. Absolutely not. That is absolutely not the male version. The closest you could get to that would be MRAs, men's rights activists, is the closest you could get to the male version of feminism. But what I'm saying is, now you fast forward to present day, and the ideology that's in the manosphere amongst young men in their 20s literally mirrors the ideology of women living in a feminist mindset, which is that men are bad, men are the problem, men owe us something, and the men are the ones that need to change. Well, now you have the guys saying the exact same thing. Now they automatically are standoffish. They're automatically threatened just because she's a female. Just because she's a female, now I don't trust you because you're a female. Now I'm gonna assume the worst of you and your intentions. And what I'm trying to say is, when both sides start talking like that, we're doomed at this point, because neither side wants to negotiate, neither side wants to understand the other, neither side wants to even believe that there's any good possible over on the other side. They're like, nope, you're just evil, you're just against me, you're my enemy, and you want to hurt me, and you want to take my shit, right?
And I get that a lot on my channel.
Yeah.
I get men just coming over there saying, "Oh, chameleon,
Yeah.
look, you're in hoop earrings. Look, you're wearing black." It's like, okay.
Right. And then it doesn't even add up. Like I'm getting that too. It's like, oh, you bring a girl on, and it's like, oh, I could tell that she's a liar because of her terrible acting. She has no reason to be that happy. It's like okay, so you spent years complaining that women weren't feminine, they weren't cooperative, they weren't pleasant, they weren't respectful of guys, and then when I find women who fit that criteria, now they get accused of being chameleons. They get accused of being bad actors. Now it's cap, and I'm just like.
Yeah, it's kind of like I know even in my personal friend group, a couple years ago, we had like there was this guy that one of my friend was talking to, and like he was a pretty cool guy. Like there are no red flags. Like anything that would be like, yeah, stay away from him. And one of my other friend was like, oh well, he's probably secretly gay, and I'm like, are you serious? Like there's nothing. So like, you have to find a fault. It's similar with these men. Like there has to be a fault. You cannot. Of course, nobody's perfect. So of course, there's going to be some fault. But it has to be either he's gay or it has to be she's a chameleon. We can never find anybody who wants to meet at the table and try to find solutions.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me get to a couple of these comments real quick before they go too far. Okay, big up to Chantel and the classy Jamaican woman. Salute. Okay, this guy's asking about the Bitcoin. Asking for Andy Ocean. Yeah, we're trying to figure out who they're asking. If you have Cash App, you can send Bitcoin to Allende's Cash App. Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah, so they're asking, like, I guess, what's your Cash App? Both you need to accept it. Damn, I should have asked you to put that in the chat. Okay, so shout out to Stefan, Educated Tyrone for the $5 super chat. Allende new house looked like the Google campus. I'm not sure. I've never seen the Google campus. I'm not in my apartment, guys. I'm on the move. What else do we have? Do you think it's because of Me Too and false accusations? Men probably just got tired of living on eggshells. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I counsel guys all the time, and I'm always putting the onus on them because you have to protect yourself from day one. I think guys, they don't start worrying about stuff until something already happens. I had a cousin. Well, I still have a cousin. He's here, and he's 6'4", like 240 pounds. Used to play football for University of Miami, and he was like the most paranoid dude. He was always like worried about this happening, that happening, that happening. And I remember one time I got in his car. I forgot what happened why I wasn't driving my car, and I was like, "Yo, man, I'm gonna go to the store. I'm gonna ride with you. Let's go to the grocery store, or whatever." And he was like, "Yo, dude, you ain't riding dirty, right?" I'm like, "Nigga, what you talking about?" He's like, "Nah, I'm just making sure you ain't got nothing on you." I'm like, "Nigga, we going to the grocery store. What is you talking about?" He was like, "Look, all I'm saying is, you be smoking weed at the house." I'm like, "What's your point?" He's like, "Well, how does it get there? Obviously, it doesn't come through the U.S. Postal Service." And I was like, "Nigga, why are you thinking about this right now? I'm trying to get eggs, milk, groceries, and you wondering if I have anything in my pocket." But when I thought about it later, I see, you know what I'm saying? I understand his mindset. This motherfucker got a lot to lose, is what I'm trying to say. He has his education, he has his career, he has a squeaky clean record. If we're in his car and we get pulled over, for whatever reason, it could simply be two big-ass black men in a car, is enough of a reason in the neighborhood that we lived in. We lived in a really nice neighborhood, Coral Springs, Florida. If you ever heard of it, you know this is white people shit. So the point is, it could happen. And if it were to happen and I had something on me, it becomes him now because we're in his car. possession, 9/10 of the law, right? There was another time we was out at a club or something, and I remember I was getting into an exchange of words with somebody, and he disappeared on me. And I'm like, bro, where you went, man? It was about to, you know what I'm saying? It could have went there. And he was like, listen, you're my cousin, and I love you, but I'm not getting hit over the head with a bottle. And I was trying to make the connection. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, listen, let me explain this to you. You're 5'10", all right? You got a little bit of muscle on you, whatever. He was like, I'm 6'4". Okay? I'm 230 something pounds. If it pop off, you really think somebody gonna give me a fair fight? And I stopped and I thought about it. And I was like, I wouldn't fight him. Like, I wouldn't fight him fair. I would hit him with something. I'm dead ass. I would hit him with something. So the point that I'm trying to make is that you have to think ahead. You have to think, what is the worst that could happen, and how do I protect myself? And I think a lot of guys, they just deal with women all happy-go-lucky. They have this stupid, goofy-ass smile on, and everything's fun and games. And, hey, what's up? What's your name? Let me buy you a drink. And they're not thinking. Pay attention to the situation, the setting. You know, she might have already had a couple of drinks because she's good looking. Other guys were buying her drinks. Now you buy her one more drink or two more drinks. She leaves with you. Something happens. The intoxication report says that something was put in her drink, and then you were the last guy with her buying her drinks. You see where I'm going with this? Now your whole life is on the line because they're trying to say you put something in some chick's drink, and you're like, what are you talking about? So the question is, how would you have protected yourself from that? And the thing is, you have to be very careful. And I know it sounds like it's not fun. It sounds like I'm being a party pooper here. But I'm just telling guys, it gets real out there, and especially if you're a black man, and especially if you have a little bit of status. You have to be very, very careful. And when stuff happens with women, they automatically are somehow reduced to just being innocent children.
Yeah. The thing is,
no, go ahead.
I say that too, but of course, I say it flip because we can talk about girls in college going to frat parties, accepting drinks, not knowing who the drink come from, and then something happened. Turn around the next day, trying to be in court. You know what I mean, without trying to get the video flag, but. It sounds like you're victim blaming, but then you say, why were you in that situation in the first place? We got to think ahead. We can't just go through life. You don't want to expect the worst. So you don't want to go through life with your guards up, but at the same time, you don't want to go through life so nonchalant, knowing that it is what it is.
Well,
so you gotta protect yourself.
It's just having a plan, I think. I don't think it's really I don't think it really ruins the quality just being very cautious and aware. If anything, I think it actually improves it because now you're more aware, you're more on point. Now you even got a better plan. You can even pull off more because you're so in tune. But you just got to be careful is all I'm saying.
100%.
And I mean, there's even ways to make it sexy. To be honest with you, I think there's plenty of ways to make your, precautions sexy with a woman. You could be like, listen, girl, I could be dangerous. And the girl's like, oh, you're not dangerous. I don't think you're dangerous. It's like, yo, that's an insult. What you trying to say? Because girls are attracted to danger. So what you trying to say? I'm not sexy? There's many ways that you can play with it, but at the same time, you're covering your ass. You're basically saying, listen, girl, I'm going to need you to do this, this, and this to make me feel safe. This is a whole new era that we're in. It ain't about just making you feel safe. We both need to make each other feel safe. And that's how you get her to say, no, I really do like you. I do want to spend time with you. It's like, okay, well, sign here, and sign here. You know what I'm saying? We're good. Now we're good. Now I feel good about this. Yeah, but, it's just a different world that we're living in is all I'm saying. And we have to adapt. So as old as I am, I've seen so many changes. And I feel like, man, I'm too young to have seen so many drastic changes in the way things used to be. I remember as a kid, I'm playing tag, freeze tag, kickball, hide and go seek, flag football. The girls are jumping double dutch. And I look at what the kids are doing today and I don't see nobody outside. It's ghost town. The parks are empty. And this is before COVID. Parks are empty. And I'm just thinking to myself, wow, we are depriving our children of not only a happy childhood, not only fatherhood, but they're not learning how to interact with each other socially. They're only learning how to interact with each other through screens. And through tablets and iPhones and shit like that, and I just don't think that that's natural. What you
I
mean?
agree. Yeah, I agree 100%. Just even witnessing the transition from being outside playing, socializing, learning those skills, because it's not just when kids play, it's not, they're just not playing, right? They're learning skills.
Right,
They're
that's what I'm
learning
saying.
skills how to work with each other. But in this day and age, like, everybody is inside, tied to the screen. Also, too, the single parent household is very hard to to be a mom, to be a single mom, right? So it's much easier to just put your kid inside or in front of the
Yep.
TV while you do whatever you have to do.
Yo,
But
you know what?
we're
You know
not.
what's funny? Because see, this is
Go
the
ahead.
thing. If you say when you say certain things, that's what's so hard about. For example, the situation is men are already like supposed to be the arbiters. They're already supposed to be the leaders. They're already supposed to be the protectors. But what we have to understand is protecting is not just from outside threats. Men also need to protect people from themselves. When you see young boys doing something they shouldn't be doing and you already know what that's going to lead to, you got to put them to the side and say, listen, little knuckleheads, y'all going to get yourself in some trouble. You got this idle time, you're out here doing this, and this. Eventually, this is where you're going to wind up. I've seen it a million times. You have to do the same thing with adult women. Sometimes you got to do it with adult men. But as men, we have to kind of look out for people in general, old people, young people, whatever. We have to look out for them. Like, grandpa, you can't be doing this. You eventually going to end up falling. I had to take my grandfather's keys from him saying, listen, you can't drive anymore. There's a whole big argument. It's my grandfather, but I have to put my foot down because he thinks he's still got it, that he can drive. And eventually he's going to react slow, then get into an accident, and then what? So you have to protect the people around you as a man. But it's difficult nowadays because women don't believe that they need to listen to what you got to say. If you say something, it's automatically reduced to somehow you hating, or you hate women, or you trying to stop them from living their best life. Who hurt you? You're jealous. You weak. Little dick energy. It's like, no, I see something about to happen because of your choices. I see something about to happen, and if I don't say something, it's not going to be good for the people involved, right? So unfortunately, men, we don't have that credibility today. But so that's why I like showing examples where you can't say that I'm wrong or I'm making this up. So an example that I'm going to give of what you just mentioned is I used to play football, but I still know a lot of guys that they continued their career with football one way or another. They might not have went to the NFL, they might not have played ball overseas, but they might have ended up heading up a football program. They might have started coaching. They might do some type of nonprofit coaching or something like that. So they're still dealing with young boys and coaching football. And the amount of them that have told me, yo, these sexy ass single mothers be coming off, signing their kids up for these damn football programs just so they could go off and chase a new dick. Like, they don't give two damns about this kid's football. They don't care about the son learning leadership skills or how to work on a team or how to be a man or anything like that, because, you know, the coach is taking a special interest in these boys. So they want to get to know the parents, and then they're like, okay, well, not parents, parent. So I need you to set up something with your mom. I need to meet your mom, and the mom don't got time for him. And it's like, so wait a minute, this isn't really about your son playing football. And then come to find out, it's, I got you, I'm late for a date, I gotta go. What? Wait, what? So I hear this from several different guys, and I hear this from some of the same guys about several different mothers. So you got several kids on the same team, and their mothers all have the same agenda. Let me drop this dude off. And a lot of times these women are struggling to pay for what needs to be paid for on time. The kid needs new uniforms and whatnot. The kids' tights and whatnot aren't washed on time. And it's like, how you wearing the same dirty thing to practice over and over again? Your mom don't do laundry? You see what I'm trying to say? So there's people that are seeing it on the other side, and it's like, you can't say that this single mom thing isn't chaotic, because you see people in other positions like teachers, you know what I'm saying, coaches, who are like, we're taking more of an interest in your children than you are. We're taking more interest in the children than the mothers are. And where are the fathers? And the mothers aren't doing what they need to be doing, and they're not doing it in a timely fashion. So what are they focusing on? And come to find out, a lot of times it be men. I'm just saying, a lot of times it be dudes that the mothers are focused on. They focusing on some new dude. It's
That's
sad.
disgraceful.
It's yeah,
It's very sad. It's like they just drop them off at football to occupy their time so they can go out and still live their best life. But then we even see how many times you see moms and daughters going out with each other
Yep.
clubbing. It's like I said on a podcast the other day, when I was growing up, I could tell a 20-year-old from a 40-year-old from a
Easy.
50-year-old. This day and age, like the 40-year-olds be dressing and acting like the 20-year-olds.
Doing the same
be
thing on
hanging
TikTok.
out
Or
the same thing on TikTok.
trying to do the same thing on TikTok. 40 years old trying to do the dances.
Exactly. And then they're like, using this whole black don't cry. It's honestly, it's
cult.
extremely disgraceful.
Yeah, it's a cult.
And then nobody can say anything. Nobody can criticize.
Exactly. They're beyond reproach. And unfortunately, that's what motivates women. What motivates and incentivizes women is social acceptance and social disapproval. I'm sorry, but that's how it operates. Women keeping their legs closed is not so much about their own personal judgment and preference. It's about how their neighbors and peers are going to judge them and how men are going to value them. So when you have the slut walk and all of that and you take away the shame in something, you're becoming an enabler now. When it's okay to be a mother out of wedlock, now you're going to see all these women be mothers out of wedlock. And
Exactly.
if you listen to how women speak, it's not hard to tell that that's their thought process, because they won't do something that they're going to get shamed for. That's just how it is. And they're going to always do what's going to get them attention. So now you see the BBL thing taking off and all of that. That's because they're getting the most attention, even though it's negative attention. They can't tell the difference. So that's why I try to tell men, stop giving women so much power and saying it's because these women are doing this and women are doing whatever they want. Women don't do whatever they want. Women do what men allow them to do and what men tolerate and what men enable. I'll give you another example. The same type of women that drop their kids off wherever they can so that they can get freedom and go run around do what they want to do is the same women that invite men over when their children are asleep. Now, this is the thing though. That woman clearly is not in a position to make sound decisions for herself or her children. But this is why I don't blame the woman. This is where I would agree with the woman where it takes two. Because she can't have a man in her bed if no man would stoop that low. So when women would give me that proposition, I would say, listen, it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. You let me know when the father has their kid. And it sounded to me like the father don't have the kid often enough. Because if you ain't with the parent of your father, there need to be some balanced co-parenting going on. Okay? You need to figure that out. But I'm not coming over there to lay no dick when you got underage minors in the house. You want me to come lay some dick when your adult roommate is there? We can work that out. If she cute, she might can join in. But I'm not going over there and somebody under 18 is in your house. It's not gonna happen. Because there again, you're putting yourself in another situation. Suppose somehow this kid randomly happens to come out and catch you naked. Then he repeats that to their classmates. Next thing you know, the police coming to look for you for some type of indecent exposure. And you're like, what are you talking about? I was like, well, a 7-year-old is scarred for life because they saw you naked. Well, how'd you even get into it? Because that sounds terrible on paper. That sounds horrible on paper when you have to file as a sex offender. And you trying to ask, how the heck did you get in that situation? Well, it all started on Tinder, and I swiped right on a single mom, and then she messaged me back, and then I was trying to see her for days, but she was busy, and then she finally said, well, I really want to see you too. I'm hot and bothered. It's like, speed up the story, man. How did this happen? Okay, basically what happened is she told me to come over. Okay, well, her kids would sleep. Okay, and then the kid woke up. Oh, okay. The bedroom door wasn't locked. I didn't know. Now, all of that could have been prevented if the man simply had some standards. If the man had some integrity about him and said, listen, I can't mess with you. You know, your character ain't up to par, because it's bad enough that you're a single mother, but look at the type of single mother you are when you're inviting some dude over you just met. I know you just met the dude because I'm the dude. You see what I'm trying to say? You can't tell me some other shit because I'm the dude. I just met you. You don't know me. What's my last name? What's my last name? Exactly. And you invited me over your home where your children were sleeping. And this is a common thing is what I'm trying to say. But if you say it out loud, women try to act like, oh, that's some women. That's few women. I don't know where you find women. Really? Really? Because I've seen to bump into a lot of women that make that invite. And I talk to guys and they tell me the same thing.
I hate when they say, oh, that not all, or that's just some. When it's like, it's the majority. So even if it's not all, it's the majority,
It's
and
way
we still
too
need
much.
to talk about it.
And it's traumatizing these children. It's traumatizing these kids. Smelling that cologne in the house. Come on, man. These kids ain't stupid. So they know
I
something
agree
up.
with you. I definitely agree that men set the standards, because if men weren't validating these half-naked pictures on social media, if men weren't validating these eyelashes and these lace fronts and these long nails, we wouldn't be seeing them as awesome. Because no matter how women want to walk around and say, I don't do it for men, I do it for myself,
Yeah, right.
let her stop getting likes. Let her stop getting those DMs, and you'll see how quick she switch up. That's why so many of them look alike. All of them went to the same BBL surgeon. All of them went to the same hairdresser and the same lash tech. They all look alike because men are validated. But you know what, too? To add, that's why they all reproduce for the small percentage.
Yeah,
of
because
men.
the small percentage is what's going for that. But that's why I tell guys, every time a guy call me on the consult, he want to start telling me about some chick, and I say, bro, I'm telling you right now, you did not pay me this money to come tell me about some chick. Because if that's the case, you already telling me you have the wrong mindset. Because you paid your money to tell me about some other bitch. You paid your money to tell me about you. Let's figure out what you doing wrong and what we need to fix and correct about you. Because I'm not trying to coach her. I'm not trying to fix her. I'm trying to fix you. So tell me about you, because you picked this broad. Don't tell me about how she cheated on you. You give her commitment. Don't tell me about how she put you in the friend zone. You the one doing all that stuff for someone that's not giving you back that same energy, right? Don't tell me about the excuses she gave you in the bedroom. You the one chasing after a girl who clearly isn't physically attracted to you. You the one doing this to you, right? Don't tell me about, well, see, I'm seeing this single mom, man. Whoa, time out. You're not in a position to handle a single mom. You know why? Because you barely struggling to deal with females in general. A single mother is even more, you know what I'm saying, of a skill set is required to deal with a single mother successfully. Oh, so anyway, I met this stripper. Stop. So I met this waitress. Stop. You don't even know how to deal with a chick you met at church. And you over here telling me, so I met this girl that work here. Come on, bro. Right? And it's like, all these girls be on OnlyFans. These thoughts, time out. Who are their subs? Who are their subs? That's who's enabling them. If you pull the rug from under them, when I meet a chick and she talking about, I'm like, yo, well, give me your number and, I'll contact you. We'll get together. Oh, add me to Snap. Whoa, time out. I don't snap. Snap is for children. I'm a grown man. Don't you see these grays in my beard? I don't snap. I cut it off immediately. I'm not going to put myself in that position is what I'm trying to say. As men, we decide what we accept and don't accept. Right?
I experienced that too. I experienced men asking for a Snapchat, and then that's when I just know what caliber a guy he is. Asking for my Snapchat. We're grown. We're supposed to be grown. So, like, I strongly agree that yes, men set the standards. However, the minority of men are validating these women, and that's why. These women know that men set the standard. That's why they get so triggered when men say they don't date single mom, when men say they want you fit, when men say they want you to know how to cook. That's why they get so triggered, because they know if a lot more men start speaking out, then they're gonna have to change.
But see, this is the thing, and this is something that I had to really, really hone in on and accept when I started stripping at the club, because I quickly realized that it wasn't important what the women thought. It was important what the other dancers thought. That's whose opinion and who validation mattered. If I met a girl at the club and she was hot as hell and she wanted to go home that night, I couldn't go home with her. Because if any of the other dancers found out, I was going to get chastised and ridiculed for it. Because it's against protocol. You're not staying on code. We ain't here to just be giving the chicks free attention. We're not here to just be validating these women. We're not here to let a woman come in and pick which guy she want. Any, meeny, miny, mo, I want you. Come on, let's go. You're going home with me. It don't work that way. It don't work that way. We the superstars. We the rock stars. Okay? So it wasn't about what this woman think or that woman think, what this woman will let me do or not let me do, who want me, who don't want me. It wasn't about that. It was about the standard that we had to keep. If we didn't maintain that standard, the entire concept falls apart now. Why are women going to come and pay you for your time and for your entertainment and for your presence if you're behaving just like every other guy in the street? It don't make no damn sense. And it's the same thing with women. Why is a guy going to wife you up if you're behaving like all the other thoughts in the street? It don't make no damn sense. You have to meet his standard if you want that type of treatment. Just like I had to rise to that standard if I wanted to be a superstar. And it just reminded me of when we were playing sports. Because when you're on the team, you can't be late to practice. You can't miss practice and then expect to play in the game. Because it ain't even about what the coach say. It ain't about what the cheerleaders say. It ain't about the fans say. It's about what your teammates say. Your teammates are all going to be giving you the eye like, nigga, who do you think you is? Who do you think you is? You're going to miss practice and then start in the game. I don't give a shit how good you are. That's not fair to the rest of the team. We were here. We were here. We were at practice on time. We stayed late. Where were you? So the point I'm trying to make is that the men today are suffering a lot of issues because they're not loyal to the brotherhood. It's like they never learned that. Nobody ever taught them the brotherhood. Bros before hoes is just something you put on a t-shirt. These niggas don't mean that. They don't mean that. But yet these women, their in-group preference is solidified. And it's destroying them. Whereas men having an in-group preference helps society. Because we create and maintain the standards and the virtue, and everybody else has to follow suit. Because this is what we're gonna tolerate, right? So I feel like that's what we need to bring back, is men respecting and appreciating one another. I keep telling guys, why you be worrying about what chicks think? What men respect you? And then they draw a blank, and it's like, you wondering why women don't respect you? No dudes respect you. And then it's like, yo, these women don't follow. Well, what men do you lead? Oh, well, so you're not following any men, and you're not leading any men. So what would you know about that process? You don't know what it is to follow a good leader, and you don't know what it is to be a good leader. But are you over here complaining about some young chick not following you? It's not adding up to me is all I'm saying. Men need to bring back whatever institutions it is that men create that make the structure for everyone else. I had a guy yesterday come in a comment and tell me chivalry's dead. How's chivalry gonna be dead if men made it? If men created chivalry, chivalry is not dead until men decide that it's dead. You gonna come and tell me chivalry's dead? Feminism killed it. Feminism can't kill something men made because they just go make it again. If a woman makes a batch of cookies and then somebody eats them, he ain't kill cookies. She can go bake more cookies. Go make more chivalry. And then hold it exclusively for the women that deserve it. Because what you do is you open up the doors, you do all of that stuff that you're supposed to do, and then when she gets to batting her eyes at you, you say, hey, whoa. It stops there. I'm just being a gentleman because I am a gentleman. I'm not doing something special for you. I do that for the old lady over there. I do that for my neighbor over there. I do that for the cat lady over there. There's nothing special about you, Mom. I'm just a gentleman, all right? So have a good day, as you were, and no, I do not want to add you to Snap. That's it.
I agree 100%, but you know what it is? I think it's the seeking validation from their mom.
Right,
Men
exactly.
Constantly, and they see that, you know, their mom represent black women. So when they go out in the world, they see black women. So they think they have to come to save us. Always open the door so they can get that validation. I think that, of course, therapy is needed, and just realize single moms did a huge disservice in our community. I mean, I will write this on my tombstone. A woman cannot teach a boy how to be a man. Cannot. No matter what you do, you can't. You need those outside, if men in the community, to help. Right. So I think that's the hugest disservice.
And that's missing. I see that missing. I see that missing all the time. When I see young boys in the street, I'm always tempted to, especially young black boys, I'm tempted, I have to say something to them.
Exactly.
I gotta say something I gotta get them some game. Because if I see them out here trying to hustle their little candy and all of that, I gotta come and critique it. You gotta dress better. You gotta have better presentation. You need more selection, more variety. You need to go take the time to type up a nice little letter, make it look a little bit more professional. Because I know your ass is out here lying. You ain't collecting money. You ain't fundraising for this, okay? But you look suspect. But if you dress up nicer, because I used to do it when I was little. I used to go ahead and put on a nice little khaki thing and everything like that, and print out the letter, put the letterhead on it, make it look all official. Like, hey, hello, how you doing? We're doing a fundraiser for the football team. We need to get new uniforms. Would you like to buy some candy? No, you wouldn't. Would you like to make a contribution? Every dollar counts. Thank you. We really appreciate it. Yeah, go out there and get that money. Now, when you get that money, what you gonna spend it on? That's what I always ask these little dudes. What you gonna spend it on? Oh, well, I'm gonna get this video game. I get these Jordans. Nope, no, you're not. You're gonna save that money, and you're gonna get you a vacuum. You're gonna get you some brushes, some scrubs. You're gonna get you some buckets. You're gonna get out here and wash and detail these cars. And then their eyes light up because they're like, damn, I never thought of that. Yeah, you're gonna make money, make you more money. Now what you gonna do when you get that money? Oh, now I'm gonna go buy the Jordans? No. You're gonna save that money too, and you're gonna get yourself a location now. Now you can tell your clients to come to you where you detail the cars. You're gonna get you an LLC. Now you got your own car washing business, and you're only 17, 18. And you already got your first business, but you started when you were 14, out here in these streets grinding, because you want to be self-made. What I'm trying to say is that young boys, they don't always come up with this on their own. When I was young, I used to always think of ways to make money, because my grandparents always told me, if you have time, you can make money. Period. Time is the ingredients to money. Time and work is the ingredients to money. And your little ass ain't got nothing but time. So I'm always thinking ahead of my peers that I would be the one to get them together. Like, they would want to go do knucklehead stuff, and I'd be like, nah, let's go to Home Depot, buy some rakes. Let's go around, knock on people's doors, and rake their leaves and get this money. Come the weekend, we got McDonald's money, we taking the girls out, we taking the girls to the movies, and my boys is like, yo, that's leadership. That's leadership, right? It's never too early to think like a leader. So what I'm saying is, I see men walk past young boys all the time, and they don't even acknowledge them. And I think to myself, chances are these young boys don't got fathers. So they're not getting acknowledged by men. And then what do? You also ignore them. You see what I'm trying to say? So where does that come from? Because when I was growing up in the neighborhood, everybody acknowledged everybody. You black, you somebody. Period. You black and you live in the neighborhood, you somebody. So where we get to treating each other like strangers is my point.
Not looking out for each other. You know what? I think it comes down to, again, no one can tell. And I hate to always point the blame back on Black women, but I think that's where it started with the feminist movement. No one can really tell us anything. So to answer your question, we pass each other in the neighborhood because no one wants, especially men, no one wants that smoke. No one wants that drama. So he will just walk past the son to avoid having to get into it with his mom. Because a lot of these single moms are very, I wouldn't want to use the word insecure, but you know, they're very sensitive when it comes to raising their sons. True. And who are you as an outside person to tell me how to run my house or how to raise my boy? That's why humbling ourselves that's needed. We need to humble ourselves and realize that we're not perfect, and we cannot sit in the corner and cry about what we didn't learn growing up, but we can reprogram our minds and try to learn things that will better our future and our children's future.
I noticed that, though. They don't want you, what they're terrified of is you having a better effect on their children than them.
Yeah, and which is that sad, control.
Right, which is sad because it's like you should want the best for your child regardless.
Exactly. And regardless of who it's coming from.
Right, like, because when it comes to women, real quick, let me just get to this super chat. Shout out to Andre C. Hatchett. That's my dude right there. That's Mr. Buy Black. So anybody that's in the comment and wants to get more information about how to buy black, how to, basically enterprise with other black people, work together, come up with plans on how you can improve the community, all that good kind of stuff that's within, black people working together, that's the man you need to holler at right now. So just hit him up in the chat. Andre C. Hatchett, we appreciate you, bro. We appreciate the support and what you're trying to do in the community, man. Like, I value that kind of stuff a lot. What I was saying is that it shouldn't be a matter of you looking at it as a competitive thing. If someone can help influence your child in a positive way, I think that's beautiful. If I had kids, I would constantly be looking at all of the friends and you know, what's it called? Not colleagues, associates. I'd be looking at all the associates I have that specialize in an area. If I know somebody that owns a restaurant, they have all this chefing experience, I'd be like, teach my kid not only how to cook, but also how to run a restaurant. You know what I mean? Get them their first job, you know? If someone plays the piano, I don't give two shits about the piano. But you know what? My kid doesn't know how to play an instrument. Do you think, can we work something out where you work with my kid twice a week or something like that and just expose them to instruments? Maybe they don't like the piano, but getting exposed to the piano makes them say, you know what, I prefer the clarinet. Listen, I don't care about the clarinet either, but I want my kid to play an instrument. I want my kid to speak a second language. I want my kid to have as many skill sets and exposure as possible. I want the juices in their brain going. I want them better than me. And I can't be a specialist in multiple things. So I need to have other adults that are on the level with me that I can trust to teach my kids shit, so my kids know, you get what I'm trying to say? My kids know as much as possible is
Exactly.
what I'm saying, right?
But you see, that requires you to remove your pride.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not happening in Black community today. That's not happening. Too many people are too full of too much pride. They don't want to admit that, hey, I need help with this. Everybody wants to be a boss chick. Everybody wants to be like, oh, I can do that all by myself. Mm-hmm.
That's the dangers of telling women that they're smarter than men, or they're as smart, or they're equal, and they don't need a man for nothing. I tell women all the time, because when women make those comments, I always try to put it into perspective, like, listen, you over here saying that you don't need to follow a man. How can you say that when men have to follow men? Men need to follow men of a higher stature, a higher status than them in the hierarchy. There's no man that was born a leader. You had to follow someone else at some point in time before you could be in that position. That's probably how you even learned how to get there, or how you were able to separate yourself and someone could look at you and say you had the potential to be a predecessor. And then it's like, I don't need no man for nothing. It's like, yo, I'm not a plumber. If something happens, I need to call a man that's a plumber. What are you saying? When I have my little technical issues, I got to call Scott from the Tip Network. He's another man. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, I need men all the time. I wish I could say I need women all the time, but unless I'm going to get between some dude's legs to twist my dreads, that's pretty much the only time I need women. Is if we're talking about bedroom fun, or we're talking about me getting my hair done. That's probably the only two times where I really need a woman. And I feel like that's sad. That's pathetic. I wish I had more females that I had to count on. I don't mind having to count on other people. I don't think that that's a weakness thing. I think it makes me more efficient if I have other people that I can count on.
Exactly. It makes you human. I saw a clip the other day, and a young lady was saying she would rather die than ask her baby daddy for help. And it's like, are we serious? The man who you lay down and reproduce with, you would rather die than ask him for help. And thinking, in her saying that, she was thinking that, that's showing her strength and that's showing how strong of a woman she is. But it's like, no, it shows your weakness. That right there is like the weakest of the weak, because you do not know how to humble yourself, put your pride to the side, and ask your kid's father for help.
And that thing is not going to get done, and it's not going to get done by somebody that can do it better than you. Like,
exactly.
When it comes to women, I'm more of an equal opportunist than I recommend other men to be. I tell men to narrow it down to a very, very, very small demographic of women that they're going to give any time or attention to, that they're going to try to court. Because I just don't feel like the average dude has the capacity to be dealing with multiple different variables, right? But me, myself, it's whatever. Sky's the limit, right? So I've dealt with a lot of single mothers, but I'm dealing with them pretty much the same as I would all women. I'm going to try to add value. I'm going to try to help them solve their problems. It's more about me than it is about them. I'm not like pandering or simping or anything like that. If people come to me with problems, let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can come up with a solution. So I'm used to seeing a common thread amongst certain groups of people. They tend to come with similar issues. And single mothers around a certain age that their children get, they tend to come with the issue of the children becoming unruly. So first of all, I'm going to be honest and say the reason why you're experiencing this is because you didn't keep a solid man in the picture, whether it's the father, an uncle, a stepdaddy, whatever. You didn't have a solid authority figure in the picture, so now your kid doesn't know what authority looks like. Your kid's not familiar with this concept. And now that the kid is getting bigger and older and the hormones are coming into play, male or female, they ain't listening to what you got to say anymore, right? What you saying is just blah, 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 and as soon as you're done talking, they back outside. They back out the house, getting into whatever they get into. They don't give a shit what you got to say. So I try to catch this shit preemptively, and I tell women, listen, you got a boy that's 10 years old, and the school is already calling. Okay? So from about 5 to 10, it's going to be the school calling. Now, from about 11 to 15, it's going to be the police calling. After 15, it's going to be the police telling you he's in jail already, and they fit to charge him as an adult. So what I'm trying to say is you got to nip it in the butt as early as possible. So, Allende, what's the solution? I'm going to tell you the solution, but you ain't going to like it. And you know how I know you ain't going to like it? Because my mother didn't like it. And all the other women that I told ain't like it either. But it's a necessity. You're going to have to send this little mofo to a male-dominated environment where values, principles, and discipline are the priority. Where nobody cares about coddling, nobody cares about feelings, nobody cares about none of that shit. The rules are what matter. That's where you're going to have to send them. Military school, boarding school, something of that nature, some type of program. They got a whole bunch of them. There's a bunch to pick from. The kid need to go study something, and he need to go somewhere where the rules are very, very strict. And 9 times out of 10, those women do not take that advice. They ignore me. They make excuses. They say, I'll think about it, or that's your opinion. All right. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just happen to be a young boy that got into a lot of trouble. I just happen to grow up around a lot of young guys that didn't have fathers that got into trouble. And I also went to these type of schools. And it changed my motherfucking life. Changed my life. That's where the best teachers were, the best mentors, the best coaches. They get you set on spending your time doing valuable things that are going to build character. And there's no women around to not respect the authority of, and there's no girls around to be distracted by. And they're basically going to make you a man one way or another. The women do not want to do this, and then they end up with problem after problem with problem, and the son just keeps going further and further out of their control, out of their hands, and then eventually he's forced into an environment because he's gotten into trouble. Now he got to go learn how to be a man in jail, in juvie. You see what I'm trying to say? And it could have been prevented, but for whatever reason, these women nowadays are allergic to listening to a man's perspective, even on becoming a man, which I think makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. You're over here challenging my opinion on becoming a man, and you're a woman struggling with a young boy.
It's that sense of, again, it's wanting to control, wanting to tell men what to do, wanting to tell men how to be, and then when they have sons, that their son is a perfect person to tell what to do, to tell how to be. So why would they listen to a man when they have a perfect opportunity to mold this boy? How many times do you hear these mom calling their sons my man or my king, or having that son-husband relationship with their sons? That's why, because they finally found a man that they can manipulate and brainwash into being how they wish their man was.
Yeah, which is ironic, because if you let women create the man that they think they want, they create someone they're not attracted to. It's unbelievable.
They create that.
There's a saying that goes, if you let a woman change a man, she's going to change him into a man that she resents. And if you let a man change a woman, he's going to change her into a woman he adores.
I mean, that's why we have these single moms be complaining about these same men they raised, because they're complaining about their sons that was raised, these men that was raised just like how they're raising their sons.
Yeah, but again, it's a vicious cycle, because I had a consult with a guy today, and what he kept trying to tell me about this girl, and I said, bro, we're past that now. We're past that. I already told you what you did wrong with this girl. All right? You're telling me that you drove all the way to Naples, which is like 4 hours away, spent the night over this girl's place. She didn't sleep with you. And then every time you're supposed to go somewhere with her, meet up with her, she cancels on you. She's late. She doesn't call you. She doesn't text you. She always gives you all these excuses. She's not interested in you. And the fact that you, because I made it simple for him. I said, listen, I'm going to tell you where you're starting off wrong in the beginning. Who makes more money, you or her? He's like, well, I make more money than her. Okay. You make more money hourly than her, weekly, monthly, and annually. So by definition, your time is more valuable. I'm sorry, by definition. Because you earn more money with your time than she earns with hers. Now, what he does for a living is he sells lipo machines. Like the machines that do liposuction, he sells them to different clinics and so on and so forth, right? So you're talking thousands of dollars commission off of every unit that he sells, and he's selling frequently because it's a booming industry. This chick is a waitress at Hooters. No comparison. So you mean to tell me that you're willing to drive 4 hours to Naples, and she didn't even sleep with you? Mind you, she's a 30-year-old single mother. Okay? So the first place you went wrong is at the age you are, because he's in his early 30s. So why are you in your early 30s pursuing women that are 30? That's the first mistake you already made, because you're going into your prime now. You're still a couple of years out from your prime. You're going into your prime now, and you're dating a female that's already past her prime. Then you don't have children of your own, but you're over here chasing behind a woman who had a child out of wedlock. Okay? Now, you're already successful. You're already in a great career, right? Sorry. You're already in a great career, but then you're chasing behind a chick that's working at Hooters, which is a young girl's game. She can get replaced at any time. Right? Anytime she can get replaced, right? Now, by you going all the way out there and spending 4 hours to go to Naples, what you were telling her directly and indirectly is that your time is more important than mine. I am searching and seeking your validation and your approval. I'm leaving everything up to you, because you didn't agree on anything. You didn't say, "Oh man, I'm coming out there for that booty." No. You went out there playing Mr. Nice Guy. So she made no promises to you, no commitments, no nothing. Like, all right, if you want to come out here, okay, I've been standing you up. I was supposed to come out in Miami, didn't do that. I was supposed to meet you here, didn't do that. I was supposed to didn't do that. But you want to see me, so not only are you willing to reschedule, you're willing to come to me. Does that make sense? You stood me up several times. Oh, I stood you up several times, and now you're coming to me. So you're rewarding me for standing you up. And you're wasting 8 hours of your time just in the commute. That's 8 hours of just driving. And then you're going to spend the night for 6-7 hours? You see how retarded this is? So you're spending more time to drive to her than you're actually going to be with her, and you weren't even getting any sex. So what I tried to explain to him is, best case scenario, you would have went over there and you would have had phenomenal sex. And then you would have continued to try to create a relationship with her from that point on. That's still you losing. That's still you telling her she's more valuable than you, and that her time is more valuable than your time. Now, this is why that's never going to work for you. Women aren't attracted to that. Women are attracted to the dude that's of higher value than them. And you convinced her, even if she thought that you were higher value, you convinced her otherwise with your behavior. These guys do this shit to themselves, bro.
But you know what, too? They were told, the R&B songs, the Babyface, I'll cook your food as soon as I get home from work. They were brainwashed into thinking that, pursue a woman, chase a woman. The more she play hard to get is the more you should chase her. But 100%, we do not like that. We do not want that. I don't want a guy and Naples is not a fun drive. From Miami to Naples, that's straight bushes. That's straight bushes. I mean,
alligator alley. Nothing but alligators.
No, that's not. And for you to do that and then not even, we don't. Nah, that's like simp-like behavior. And I don't know if you use that term on your channel, and we're not attracted to that. We want that once we hit the wall, and we want security. That's a video I did yesterday. We want that kind of behavior once we want security. We want safe, so we turn around after our prime years, after we hit the wall and we give up our womb. Then we'll turn around and marry and settle for security. Then we'll settle for a guy who will drive to Naples just to come sleep and then turn back.
See, this is what I try to tell guys all the time. They're not getting it. Women are going to create an algorithm. They're going to create their own algorithm. They're going to say, all right, I spent this much of my life trying to get this guy that's going to be all of these things, and it ain't working. But this guy has 4 of these things. This guy has 2 of them. This guy has 1 of them. This guy has half of 1 of those things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take what I need from who has it when I need it. So the type of guy that got her pregnant is the type of guy that didn't want to settle down, didn't want to commit, didn't want to put in all that extra effort, all this other kind of shit. So you basically drove 8 hours for another nigga baby mama. Don't sound to me like he would even do that. Okay? So what she's going to do now to maintain her way of thinking so that she doesn't have to adjust how she views herself and her standards, because she damn sure don't want to challenge that, right? She's trying to maintain that at all costs. So she's going to let your dumb ass come and treat her special, come and spend all this quality time with her and it not be about sex, so that she can convince herself that she's worth that, because all these other guys keep on expecting sex on the first date, and she's like, no, I'm more than that. It's like, really? Because you've been doing that. That's what you have a history of. You have a history of having low sexual boundaries and having sex with guys in a short period of time. But now you're trying to break that by forcing guys to treat you like you're more than that, when you yourself haven't conducted yourself as more than that. So now that you got a guy that supports that narrative, now you're willing to let that guy come around when the other guy basically laughs at you and says, nah, I'm only gonna call when I'm horny. I'm only gonna call when I wanna hook up. And after she's done struggling with him, why you only call me at 12 o'clock at night? Why you only tell me to come over on late hours? Why you don't ever plan a date with me? Why you don't ever take me out? So now when she gets off the phone with him, all pissed off and frustrated and her feelings are hurt, now she texts back this sucker ass guy who's gonna sit there and tell her, oh, it's okay, hey, you're beautiful. Oh, it's okay, I understand you were busy. Oh, I know you were at work. She wasn't at work. She was struggling trying to get some quality time out this other guy, and he didn't want to give it to her. So now she's ready to reschedule for the 4th time with your dumb ass, and now you're gonna come over there and validate her and make her feel special, and now she's gonna take that ammunition and go right back to the other type of guy. She just, you know how you just refresh something on the internet? You just refresh the page? She's gonna refresh her argument now. I'm worth more. I know my worth. And then you know your worth because you just spoke to 3 simp dudes that told you that, yes, you are wonderful, you are special, I just want to spend time with you. No, it's not even about sex. So now after that went in there in the past 24 hours, now she coming back at this dude like, that's right, I am worth this and I am. So you're enabling this girl to keep up this lifestyle is what I'm trying to say, right? That's why when you tell women, listen, you're less valuable to men as a baby mother, they don't want to hear it because they keep thinking about all the guys that are telling them, you have such a beautiful family. Okay, a single mother with kids is not a family. There has to be a mother and a father for it to be a family. Okay, and hold on, because all the people that's thinking I'm just being negative. Okay, when you see a female monkey and 3 little baby monkeys, do you call that a family or do you call it a mother with her kids? No, I'm being for real. When you see a dog and her puppies, do you say look at that family of dogs, or do you say look at that bitch and her puppies? I'm just being real here. I like the dictionary. I respect the definitions of words. So these women, they keep on saying they're big boned and they're chunky and they're thick, sexy, or whatever. No, you're fat. Stop throwing all these words around. I'm an entrepreneur. You're an entrepreneur? So you have multiple businesses in your name. I'm on OnlyFans, and I'm also that. Whoa, time out. You don't own OnlyFans. You're not the CEO of OnlyFans. So how are you an entrepreneur because you're on a platform? What are you even saying? Because you make money and you don't have a boss, you think that you're an entrepreneur? That's a private contractor. They're not the same thing. So we allow women to use these words and we don't check them. And there's more guys who are reinforcing that false narrative than there is guys that are checking them and say, hey ma, hold on, baby girl. You're cute, but I gotta correct you real quick. You're wrong, that's not what this is.
But you see, the same society that these women grew up in, that coddle and pander to them and let them believe these fairy tales, is the same society that these men grew up in. And we have been told that, men only want one thing. Men want sex. A man are supposed to chase. How I started my YouTube channel is because I was curious. How do you reciprocate? What do you do to show men that you're interested, because we were told men's supposed to buy us flowers, he's supposed to ask us out, he's supposed to plan the date, he's supposed to open the door, he's supposed to do all these things, and we get no information on what we're supposed to do in return, other than, you know, wear a nice dress and show up, right? And in trying to find out these information, there was nothing, no
Yeah,
information
nothing
out
for
there.
the woman's side.
Nothing. Only Derek Jackson. I ran across Derek Jackson, and again, you know, he was as useless, just telling us to show up because we're the prize and we deserve. So these men,
But he
like
made
the
the
guy that
bag.
you
He
talked
made the
to
bag
earlier,
doing that though.
but these men, like the guy that you talked to earlier, those were the same narrative he heard. Like,
Yeah,
you
he
know,
bought her flowers.
go above and be, yeah, buy
No,
her
no,
flowers,
he
drive
told me he
4
ordered her
hours.
flowers, and then he canceled them.
That's, and it's like my heart just goes out to them, because it's like, and the Sims, not to call him a simp, you know, all respect to
No,
him,
he
but
was
men
simping.
like him,
I called him a simp. He was simping.
the Sims are what keep modern women this entitled.
Oh, yeah.
The Sims are what let them think that, oh, I can just be me. All I have to do is just take a nice selfie on social media, and all these will flood to my DMs, and all these men will. It's ridiculous. As a female, I'm telling you,
It pollutes the dating pool. It's like somebody
it does.
peeing in the pool. Let me tell you something. It was the same exact thing at the club. It was the same exact thing at the club, because when you in there, you're doing your job, you working hard, you staying in shape, you practicing your choreography, you working with the DJ hours of the day in the daytime, making your mix perfected, making your set perfected, your sound bites, you're buying extra lighting just for your set, just for your routine, you're going back and forth to the tailor and the seamstress, getting all these additions to your costume, and then you created this valuable commodity on stage. And then it's like, okay, now the women need to come, they need to show their appreciation, they need to tip, they need to spend their money, you know what I'm saying? They need to pay for this level of talent and workmanship, right? And then you have guys that don't put in none of that type of effort, but they over there talking to the girls for free. They over here giving the girls all this free attention. Because the girl is cute, they give her a free lap dance. They give the girl their phone number the first time they meet her. Then they go hang out with her outside of the club. And now the girl comes to the dude that's a superstar, that put all that time in the gym, all that time into his diet, all that time into his costume, all that time into his set. You gotta pay all these different people. Think about it. You gotta pay the meal prep, you gotta pay the DJ, you gotta pay the seamstress, you gotta pay the gym membership, you paying all this stuff, and then you got this motherfucker undercutting you, constantly undercutting you, and now she's coming to you expecting you to behave like that guy behaves, expecting you to give her all this attention and all this validation for free, because she comparing you to your coworkers now, that don't even put the work into themselves, and they have the nerve to run behind her and chase her, treat her like she's the prime and she's the prize. And then when I'm bouncing in the female strip clubs, I see the same exact thing. You got girls that are gorgeous, they working on their body, they're spending money on their hair, money on their nails, money on their shoes, they wear a different thing every time they go on stage, which means they're paying for the damn outfits they're wearing. They're not sleeping with clients. They actually know how to work the pole on weekdays in the afternoon. They're practicing at the pole dancing class. They're taking classes and paying an instructor to teach them how to work the pole. And then you got these lazy bitches with their gut out, just walking around the club offering to give head in the back room. And now the guys don't want to spend no damn money, because for the same money they got to pay this girl to do a private dance, another girl back there on her knees. They're polluting the pool.
But you know what? I mean, for me, these modern women make dating easy for me, because I know what I come with, right? I know that I stand 100% apart from these women. So dating is easy for me. It's just like you have to pay for quality. Like your strip club example, you have to pay for quality. If you want a woman who is giving, nobody wants, you know, that woman who's going to be giving head in the back to everybody. Yeah. Everybody wants the one lady that's like, you know, that's quality.
Untouchable.
That's untouchable. Exactly. So everybody is really looking at her. And this is what I tell young ladies. You're posting half naked on social media, thinking you're getting that validation, but you're getting that validation from any and every. If you really want that quality, cover yourself.
You have to. You gotta
exactly.
leave something for that guy.
Exactly.
Shout out to shout out to Aaron E. On the $7 super chat, and he's not, you know, asking a question. He just dropping in to pay his dues. Keep grinding, brother. Yeah, I appreciate tuition, because right now I feel like, you know, this is like summer school, man. You know, I feel like it's public school, and I need to become Harvard real fast. I need to become private school. This is an Ivy League school in this motherfucker, and I'm giving it to the I'm giving it to the community for free. Hold on, let me see where we are on time, because I know you got to set up for another live, so I could get you for another 10 minutes, right?
That's fine.
Okay, yeah, another 10 minutes. Let me just see some of these comments real quick. Yeah, the Simps message. Oh, the Simps mess up the game for most men. I'm described as a trill nigga, and I don't really put more effort in relationships, but for some reason, women are drawn to me. Well, I don't know about that. I put plenty of effort into a relationship. The thing is, I don't give away relationships. I don't give away commitment. If I, you see, the thing is, you got to be selective. Okay, you have to be selective, and you have to, you know, make sure that you're reserving your commitment for the right women, the same way women need to reserve their body for the right men. And nowadays, both is given away for free. That's why it irritates me when the guys keep calling these women thoughts and all this other kind of stuff. Thoughts and simps are the same damn thing. They're giving away what it is that they're supposed to be leveraging for free. All right? So the women are supposed to be leveraging their sexuality, and they just giving it away to any dude that is, you know, physically attractive. And the guys are supposed to be leveraging their resources, their commitment, their attention, and they're just giving it away to any woman that's free. So the women are no more guilty than the guys. We need to stop with the pointing the finger. If we're going to point the finger, we need to point the finger at the establishment. The establishment has worked, you know, diligently to create this reality we have today. They've been working on it for many, many decades, and it kills me that people keep pointing the finger at everyday people, acting like everyday people got some type of power. That's like blaming white people for slavery. It's retarded. White people is not the cause of slavery, because first of all, slavery is not even a race issue. It was never a race dynamic. Slavery is a power dynamic. And the people that are in charge are gonna enslave whoever's convenient to them, right? Most of the time, it's been people of the same color. That's the irony of it. We keep making slavery this race thing, but 70, 80% of slavery throughout history has been the same people enslaving their own damn people. So you trying to tell me that English people enslaving Irish people is racism? One tribe in Africa enslaving another tribe in Africa is racism? Chinese enslaving the Korean, or the Japanese enslaving Korea? That's, you see what I'm trying to say? It's the people closest to you. It's convenient. Just like when black people commit crimes, they commit crimes in people in their own damn neighborhood. They go right next door and commit a crime. They don't go all the way to the suburbs to commit a crime. You see what I'm trying to say? So we have to get out of thinking that we are each other's enemy, and we got to start really paying attention to the causal effects of these things, which is why I struggle to have these discussions with women, because they always want to reduce it down to men. Men are trash. Guys be wanting to do this, this, and this, and guys be wanting too much, and guys like, whoa. If you're pointing a finger at these guys, you have to ask yourself, who produced these guys? Who manufactured them? Where they come from? Where they come from? Okay, they came from a single mother household. Okay, here's a start. There's a start. Okay, now, how did we get that single mother household? Well, exactly. Let's follow, you know what I'm saying, the pattern here. Okay, you have the welfare system, you have this, you have the entertainment, you have all these things put in play to get us to this point and turn us against each other. Now it's, did you hear what Cam Newton said about women? Oh, he gonna get canceled. All right, so time out. You trying to tell me that women canceled Cam Newton? Like, let's pay attention to this. You trying to tell me that the everyday woman has the ability to cancel Cam Newton? So if Cam Newton is getting canceled, you do realize this is some elite play. This is some people that actually have some power and some control that are making this a story, because they want women to get all riled up over what he said, because it creates more of a divide. And the irony is, there was nothing wrong with what the man said. And there's no logical argument that anybody could have for what he said. But yet they're telling these women that they have an argument. Why? So it's the same thing as telling people that there's no argument to be had over a transgender competing in a sport. It just doesn't make any damn sense. So you're going to jeopardize the integrity of this sport for 3-4% of the population? So you mean to tell me you're going to focus more on the rights of a transgendered woman than the rights of real women? Do you know how ass backwards that logic is? So this is where we are with it. We don't want men, we don't want strong men teaching our children, but we're gonna fight to normalize men in drag teaching our children. So if it's a man teaching children, somehow he could be a pervert, he could be a predator, but if he dresses like a woman, now that's not a concern anymore. I'm confused. I would be more concerned with the dude in a dress teaching my children than the dude that carries himself like a real man teaching our children. So this is how retarded our thought process is. And then when we have these discussions, who are we mad at? We're not mad at the people that are making these decisions and putting this foolery out here. We're mad at each other. We're arguing at each other. Every time I hear a transgendered argument, the one thing I'm always thinking in my head is, time out. Where's the transgendered person that has a problem? Because it's the people that are arguing are always people that are either for it or against it, but neither are actually transgender themselves. And it blows my mind. I'm like, why are we having this argument and there isn't a transgendered person complaining? What's going on? The swimmer, his or herself is not complaining, but yet everyone else is discussing it and arguing over it. Do you see what I'm trying to say? It's not making any sense to me. Will Smith slapping Chris Rock, the moment I see something like that, I'm looking in every direction other than the direction that Will Smith is in. I'm looking in every other direction because I'm thinking to myself, okay, what are they distracting us from? Something else is going on that's way more important than this because they're trying to divert all our attention towards this. So what do they not want us to know? And come to find out, there's a lot of other shit going on right now that's very sensitive. And in order to make that happen, they have us looking in the other way. And I also notice that they do that a lot in the black community. They'll say, listen, we have this program happening on this particular date, and we're giving away free food, or we're giving away food stamps, and we're giving away this, and that. And everybody in the hood is like, oh shit, you gotta get there, we gotta get online. Girl, they're giving away food stamp cards and whatever. I'm thinking, wait, time out, what's happening on this date? While they're trying to distract everybody and get everybody to go wait in line somewhere. Come to find out, they're making all kind of political decisions. They're voting somebody in. You see what I'm saying? Somebody that has the ability to actually make some positive long-term changes in the community. That election, that vote is happening at the same time. But you can't be in two places at the same time. So the poor people can't go there and vote because they're too busy trying to get these free handout of $100 or $200 on an EBD card. How long is $200 going to last you on an EBD card? But the person that you were going to vote for, that person could have made some changes in the neighborhood that are long term. But you missed that opportunity because you were too busy online trying to get a free fucking handout. And that's exactly what they did to the black community with welfare. They distracted the women with this free handout every month for your bastard children, instead of you focusing on maintaining a household with the father present. Instead of saying we're going to work through this together, man and woman together, they divided them by simply giving the woman a little bit of money.
That's all facts. That's all facts. But we've been so distracted with our emotions. Mm-hmm. We would much rather focus on our emotions than thinking it logically. And we all know that men tend to think things through more than us women. Like, that's just how we were wired. That's how God created us. But instead of acknowledging that and admitting that, we'll much rather, as you said earlier, just say, but the men. Mm-hmm. Instead of taking responsibility and taking accountability for our actions.
We got to keep men in the house for that reason.
Exactly.
Because once you take the guy out the house, now mm-hmm. the women are at risk. And the children are at risk. Shit, even the animals are at risk now. The pets, for God's sake, are at risk now. And that's exactly what the establishment wants. They want the weakest person making the decisions. And once they weaponize women like that, now it's up to the woman now. It's up to the woman what happens to the children, right? It's up to the woman how this man's money gets spent. So now you get the labor out of the man, right? But the spending decisions go through the woman now. Because we're going to take the money from him. Notice that child support is a percentage game. That right there should tell you something. Why does it cost more money to raise a successful man's child than it does a deadbeat Dusty's child?
Exactly.
It's not about how much it costs to raise the kid. It's about how much percentage of control I want to have over this man. And in a democracy, in a so-called free nation, the government can't just impose that control on the man. So what they do is they do it through the woman.
Exactly.
Because they know that's our weakness. Because they know that's the one area where men do not think logically. If I ever have a big enough enemy, I already know if I really want to get you, bro, I can get you. All I gotta do is get your type of chick to just coincidentally come into your life. And you're gonna be vulnerable. You're gonna be vulnerable to her.
But this been happening since Delilah days.
That's what I'm
from the
saying. But
Bible
people don't
days.
read this damn Bible. People don't care about the Bible. And they tell you everything you need to know about life and human nature.
Exactly. Like that's literally being played out right now. How they turn the woman against the men in the black community,
and it make everybody weak because nobody could beat him until the woman came and made him vulnerable. Hold on, real quick. Let me shout out this super chat real quick from Ben Joe, $5 super chat. No comment, but thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Also, I'm gonna shout out this super chat from the R Hodge Experience. Thanks for all the great game. Always very insightful, man. Appreciate you, brother. Always. Let me see who else is in here. Chantel needs to be protected at all times. Yeah. Speaking of which, you want to go ahead and shout out your channel for whoever doesn't already, because I mean I think a lot of my people already know who you are. But shout out your channel so whoever doesn't know can come through. They're gonna catch it on the replay anyway. And
yeah. Well, my channel is my name, and I see you have it pinned at the top. And basically, I try to. So I'm not trying to convince nobody. I'm not trying to change nobody's mind. I'm not trying to go back and forth with any of these women. I just share my story and give a different alternative, give a different perspective to the feminist movement narrative. So young girls or young ladies, if they want to go that route of dressing more appropriately, being more classy, being more ladylike, that will get you the result of a man who wants to lead, protect, teach. That's basically what I talk about. We have these uncommon conversations. We talk about obesity a lot. We talk about carrying yourself like a lady. We talk about the court system, the child support system, the divorce system, just everything, all the uncommon conversation that the system wants us to avoid.
Well, a couple things I want to mention. Well, for starters, I know that I was trying to get you with the Tip Network. I think that.
Oh yes.
Yeah, because I think Scott would have a lot of really good questions for you, and I think Grover would have a lot of really good interaction with you, conversation-wise. That would be like.
And that's them, right? THPP Network.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw them and shout out to them. I saw them in my chat the other day, and I could not remember who had got me in contact with them. I thought it was
Yeah,
it was someone else, but yeah.
Yeah, they're a really good duo because Grover is looking at things from kind of an older father figure perspective, and that's what we're missing in society in general. I don't think any more so in the black community than the overall society anymore. What I've noticed that the strategy seems to be is to do it in the black community first, and then figure out how to magnify it outward to the rest of society. So they create the degenerate behavior first in the black community. Let's get them to have the single parent households. Let's get them to have the women and the men fighting. Let's get them to misappropriate their funds and whatever. And then it's we'll figure out how we could do this to all the other people and make it overwhelmingly normal. And I think a lot of that comes to do from we're the American people. We're the rich people, meaning rich culture. When we got that name, they weren't talking about that we were rich necessarily in just resources, but that there's something about who we call American blacks today that's very influential. And I dare anybody to argue that. We are the most influential people on the planet by far. There's a Russian form of hip hop. There's a Korean, Japanese, Chinese version of hip hop. Everything that we do, there's a version of it in every other country. And that's unique to our people, that we are that influential to other people. And the question has to be, why? You know what I'm saying? So there's something that's definitely special about us. I know that we from the tribe of Israel. I know that. I know we're God's people. Some people want to argue that, whether that's fine. Do what you need to do. If you're familiar with the Bible, you wouldn't be able to argue with it. Because there's too many ways that those people are described that match up and align with us perfectly. So when you're talking about people throughout the Caribbean, you're talking about people in North America, they sure as hell are describing people that are in our situation and have always been in our situation, right? So I just see that that's a thing that's happening. So who are you targeting your messages towards the most, men, or do you think women? Like, where do you think you should put most of your energy as far as trying to give tools to create solutions?
The woman.
Okay.
I think I would say the women because the women were the one who walked away. The men didn't do anything. The men were just standing there still providing, protecting. The women were the ones who allowed the system to affect the family.
Mm-hmm.
And we continue to, even though we shout and bawl and talk about how black men not protecting us, but then we see when black men try to protect us,
Right.
we tell them, who are you anyways? I, that's what I always say. I think that there are more traditional minded men than there are traditional minded women, because no one told men that y'all need to be strong and independent and don't need women. That
Well,
narrative was given to us.
well, you know who I would love to see you with? I'd love to see you do something with Six, the goddess, of course. But I feel like that's like a colleague. You know, that would be like a teammate. It'd be like just two players that are both in the league at the same time. But I think what would be an amazing interview and discussion would be you and Sharad. Shaharad Ali, shit. Hold on, because I'm drawing a blank. I haven't eaten all day. I'm doing the fasting thing. But listen, I got a hold of her book when I was a young boy. I think one of my uncles had it or something like that. So she's been around. I mean, I know from the '90s. Maybe earlier, but I came across her in the '90s. And I think that you are kind of on the same page. You're like it's like the same message, the same issues you're trying to address, but the difference is you have the overwhelming advantage of modern technology, whereas she right now has the overwhelming advantage of the wisdom and the experience of what happens when you try to do this for majority of your life. So I think it would be really interesting for you two to work together, because it's kind of like the old school and the new school is exactly. And I feel like you could take each other's game to the next level, because you could show her like this is the modern. Yeah.
It's funny you said that, because someone said that to me yesterday in my live stream too. And I mean, I'm familiar with her, and I'm familiar with her book and her message, and she's who I learned a lot from. In just really, like just opening your eyes and asking the questions, and not only asking the questions, but then why you get so much pushback when you ask the questions, right?
Right, because the pushback is still there. So you should know where I'm going next. Because it's like, if I'm telling guys to like tune in, like, okay, check out her channel, and it's like, oh, it's from a female perspective, so I agree with it, but I can't, maybe it doesn't necessarily make me vibrate as a guy. It's like, all right, well, cool. I mean, that's what my channel's for, fucker. But here's the thing, though. That's a really good link to send a girl that you're starting to talk to, that you're interested in, because you can gauge her response. It's like, yo, if Chantel shit makes you vomit, then you're not the girl for me. You know what I mean? If it triggers you, then you know what? Whew. Thank you for vetting. Thank you, for vetting the girl for me, Chantel. Because if she can't digest your content and your material, then I know that she ain't gonna be the one. Because that right there, in my opinion, lets you know right away a girl is not gonna be perceptive to it. If she ain't gonna take it from your channel, then she ain't gonna take it at all. Is what I'm trying to say. Because the medicine can't taste no better. Is what I'm trying to say.
And I agree. I agree 100%, because men talk like how y'all talk. You guys are very direct, very straightforward. You talk like a masculine man. So I understand why some women or some young ladies probably won't gravitate to your content, but we are basically just saying the same thing, but I'm saying it as a female. I'm saying it with a feminine tone. So if a young lady that you're dating can understand, or
that's what I'm saying. Look, Prince Matten said Shahara is like the iPhone 1 and Chantel is like iPhone 13. Real talk. Because the next thing I was gonna ask you is, can we expect any courses in the future or any books in the future? And I say this because I personally think that that's the direction you should go in, so that it can be something that's consolidated, and it's packed in a way that a woman could like literally go through a course. Like, what are some ways to level up my femininity and my lady, my ladiness, like systematically? You know, what are literally key things that could be put into chapters that women should be focusing on physically as well as mentally. Me personally, when I have the time, I keep saying I'm gonna do this. I want to work on a video that's about proper table etiquette, because I believe that as a man, you can't even look for certain values or skill sets that you yourself don't even understand or have. So it's like, how can you gauge or judge whether or not a female has proper table etiquette?
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you yourself don't have proper table etiquette,
Don't have it. Yeah.
right? And I actually
Yeah.
learned it in England. So, and that's always been something that's been different and unique about me, and that some people have noticed it. Sometimes in business meetings, or sometimes going out with certain women from different walks of life, they will notice that, like, you actually eat with a certain type of etiquette. And it's like, yeah, well, that was beat into me, like literally beat into me. You know what I mean? I had to learn that as a child, and I've forgotten some of it, but I know it will come back to me if I study it and touch up on it. But it does go a long way when you're meeting with very important people, people that have a lot of sway and pull. And I also think that it increases the quality of the experience on dates.
I agree. I love that you said it was beat into you, because it was with me too. You know, growing up, being in school in Jamaica, that was a course that we had to take. But in terms of, I actually wrote a book. I wrote a book back before I started my channel during the pandemic time. I haven't published it yet. My work on that again, like revise it and stuff. In terms of course, I'm going back and forth with that because I'm not married yet. I would like to wait until I'm married before I drop a course.
But it doesn't have to be about that. I feel like that could be a whole separate course. I feel like that's the course you do after you're married. But before that, you can do something where it's like, you know, something for ladies, something for class and etiquette, because it's missing. It's needed, and I mean, it might force you to have to grow and learn even more, because you're gonna have to go do even more research so that you can really be on top of it. Right.
That's a good point, because I was just about to say, I still, like, I look at myself as a student, because honestly, when I turn on my camera, I'm learning. These are things that I'm learning, and
then you're sharing your notes. That's it. You're sharing your notes.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and that's a good. I like that. That would be an opportunity for me to learn again, because even though that those etiquette classes and, you know, sitting like a lady, walking like a lady, talking like a lady, it was drilled in me as a child. I moved to America, and I got Americanized, as they'll say in Jamaica. And, you know, I moved here when I was 15. That was at the age that I was finding myself, finding my identity. And, you know, those ladylike teaching, that's not really pushed here. So I kind of pushed that on the back burner. Luckily, though, in realizing where our culture is now and realizing how many women are just comfortable being naked on social media, I draw for my teaching or what I learned back then. And that's how I've been using my channel.
I mean, yeah, because you know what it is? You have to do that. You have to do an actual course. You have to do seminars. You have to give awards to students that excel, because you have to bring validation to it. And when you bring validation to it, you're going to see more and more women seeking it, because there's a form of validation to be gotten. There's a form of attention. And then it also becomes a badge of honor now. It's like, well, listen, I can say that I went through this course and I learned these things, and that's going to give me a leg up on other women. Because you mentioned something earlier that I tell black women all the time. When they start complaining about men, I say, you do realize that as a black woman, you have a huge advantage. All you have to do is not be like what the dudes are complaining about. All you gotta do is know when to be quiet. All you gotta know is when to be cooperative. All you gotta do is make sure you're being feminine, you're in your feminine energy. You're gonna beat these women out by a mile by doing things that should be standard. Things that should be givens are gonna be looked at as special, and they're gonna be rewarded because they're so unique. It's like when I'm interacting with certain women and I'm doing certain things, they're like wowed by it, and I'm thinking to myself, this is man one-on-one shit. What the fuck?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
but because you're not used to it.
Right, because I'm doing things without being asked to do them. I'm doing things that the women didn't even know needed to be done, and I'm not mentioning it. They don't notice it's done until they come across it. So if something's broken in the house, if a handle is broke, something like. And see, I was raised that way, that just being a man around women, you needed to do certain things. It wasn't about you being a simp. It wasn't about, I'm not fixing her cabinet. That ain't my girl. Time out.
Exactly.
You not fixing her cabinet ain't about whether or not she's your girl. It's about whether or not you're a man.
Exactly.
That's
And
my
it,
that's
and,
right. That's my logic. Pumping the gas, holding the
mhm,
doors. If her tire's a little bit low on air, I'm not gonna bring it up to her. Why am I bringing it up to her? If her tire's low, I'm gonna take her car key. I'm gonna go put some air in the tire, make sure there isn't a leak. While I'm there, I'm gonna fill the gas tank up. And if they got a sale on the car wash, I'm gonna run that motherfucker through the car wash too. I'm gonna vacuum the mats and be back in 30 minutes. She's like,
and it
you went to the
goes.
store? Yeah, I went to go get a Dutch. But when she comes out, her car is clean, her tires are full, and her gas tank is on full. And I didn't mention none of that. She don't notice that till she's damn near home. But what she will notice is that she fucking with a real man though.
And to add, it goes the same with us too. I mean, with dating, even in the dating process, I'm still cooking. I'm still like, hey, you want to try my salmon? You know, did you eat yet? And that shock men.
Yeah. and it shouldn't, because what I'm trying to say is this type of behavior is not what it says about the other person. It's about what it says to you about you. When my grandparents would go to visit a friend, they would always have to stop and pick something up. They would have to go get something from the yard. They would have to prepare some type of gift.
Exactly. That was a culture shock to me.
Yeah,
That
you
was
don't
a
come to people's
culture
house.
shock to me. You don't come to
Right.
people's house.
You don't come to people's house. Yo, what you bring for me? Ma, you not seen nothing yet, you know.
Exactly. You don't come to people's house empty hand. That when I moved to America, I realized that was a huge culture shock. I'm gonna bring chips. I'm gonna bring juice. I'm gonna bring something
Some
when I
kind
go to
of
people's
a
house.
bottle of wine, a pack of Guinness, bro. This is what I'm trying to say. We are off. We are off kilter culturally, and it's like, do people need to have table manners and proper dining etiquette? Bro, people need to have proper etiquette in every environment, depending on the environment. When I'm in the gym, I'm so irritated that the people in the gym, the guys in the gym, they don't have gym etiquette. They don't put the weights back. They don't know how to ask to use a machine before they use it. They don't know how to work in and share a machine with somebody. They don't know how to put the weights on the machine, or the weight to put the plates on backwards. It's like, bro, the lip on the plate is so that you can hold it with your hands for safety, so you don't drop a plate on your foot. Why are all of you putting the plate backwards? And when you put the plate backwards, the next person has a hard time getting the plate off because the lip isn't exposed so that I can pull it with my finger. Why do you not know any of these things? And I know
Or
why.
they put the 20 pound, the 25 pound on the 45 pound rack, and they put it
Exactly. They put the weights back in the dumbbells back in the wrong place, and the shit's labeled. So, or they use the weights and they don't even put it back. It's on the other side of the gym, and it's like, how did this happen? This happened because nobody taught you. Nobody taught you etiquette in general, and then nobody taught you specific gym etiquette. Because the people that taught me gym etiquette was old school bodybuilders.
Yeah.
And they took that shit seriously. Young blood, you can't be doing this. Or they pull you to the side, you think you did something terrible. They're like, listen, the other while I saw you put the weight back in the wrong place, boy, you can't be doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't be doing that. And and we represent ourselves, and then we represent the people that we are with. So we have to learn how to choose our friends, because that's what I'm saying. Everybody keeps making this a relationship thing. No, you should be conducting yourself a certain way with people in general, your friends, your coworkers, people you come in contact with, your neighbors. Look how much people don't speak to their neighbors. Live in the same building, they don't speak to their damn neighbors.
Exactly.
It's unbelievable to me. And then when something happens and you're not home, there's nobody to look out for you.
If there's an emergency or anything. I remember living in Jamaica. If you're out, if you away, you tell your neighbors so they know, okay, that's why my porch light not on for 2 days. But here, nobody don't know. You could pass out in your house and nobody wouldn't know.
Nobody come and check on you. And and that's happening to a lot of women. That's happening to a lot of these single women that are dying alone, literally. You're literally. And then when you say that to them, they think it's some type of insult that's designed to hurt their feelings. It's like, no, this is an actual concern. So we made the cat lady thing a joke. It's really not that funny though, because there's people that are investing in 9 lives and making millions of dollars, because that's a rising stock right now. That's a rising stock. Okay? So, and then the animal shit that we're producing is polluting the environment because we got too many damn pets. Because you got people that got several pets. You got one person, 4 or 5 pets. It's too much. And really
Remember
what they
back
want to have
in the
children.
Yeah, because I was about to say, remember back in the days when pet was only for family? When you'll just get a family dog because you have a family, but no, you have these single women getting dogs to
Yo,
compensate.
what the heck? Somebody was telling me in Europe that the people are calling the pets their children, and I forgot what they were calling themselves, fur parents or fur babies, some weird
Yeah.
shit. And I just was like, man, what is the world coming to? But I like the idea of having a course that ladies can come and become more ladylike, because what's going to happen is you're going to have guys buying that course trying to reverse engineer some shit. They're going to be like, listen, I'm not a lady, but I need to know what to look for in a lady. I need to know, because a lot of guys don't know. They don't know. They're like, well, I have no idea what the expectation of a girlfriend should be. And I feel like that's a conversation that a man would have had to have told you when you were younger. When you're 14, 15, you start liking girls. I remember having conversations with older guys, and they were pulling me to the side, helping me understand these are the girls you just sleep with, and these are the girls that you have a relationship with. No, I'm just saying. These are the girls that you practice on, and these are the girls that you invest you invest into, and you need both. Because if you don't have the ones that you practice on, then you're not gonna know what the heck to do when you get the good girl. You're gonna screw that all up. It's just like your first car can't be a brand new car, right? Your first car, you gotta kind of get something that it's not too expensive. It's old. You deal with it. It's gonna have a lot of problems, breaking down and shit like that. But through that, you learn how to maintain a new car because you had to struggle with the hoopty. You know what I mean? You don't change the oil on time in a hoopty, you might have some real problems. You got to change the coolant, the AC fluid. You got to do this. You got to do that. So by the time you get a new car, you're like, bro, I'm responsible. Yeah. I know exactly what the hell I'm doing now with this new car. You understand what I'm trying to say? And then you take better care of it, right? You know what you got because you had to work your way up to it. And there's a lot of guys in the manosphere having this argument of, oh, well, my last girlfriend, I slept with her the first night, or I slept with her within a couple of nights. And it's like, well, how did you expect that to go well? I'm not saying that it's doomed from the beginning, but I'm just saying, you sure as hell weren't taking, some precautions here, because that right there is not a good sign. Because if she could sleep with you in such a short period of time, who's to say she can't meet somebody and cheat on you in such a short period of time?
Exactly. And that's what I was about to add. A lot of these men like to boast how their girlfriend is a baddie and their girlfriend looks good and their girlfriend is posting half naked on social media. And the only reason a female posts half naked on social media is to get attention from men. That's it. So it's like, you're proud of having these kind of girlfriends, but then complain when she do what she does.
See, this is the thing. The guys are always acting like, they're always acting like these good girls don't exist, or these good girls are hard to find. And I'm just like, every time guys tell me where they found these girls, it's never in a place or a situation where I would have faith that was gonna go well anyway. Because it's like, yeah, I met this girl. It's like, well, how many followers does she have on Instagram? Oh, she has 20,000 followers. It's like, bro, that's not a good sign right there. I'm not saying it's the end of the world. What I'm trying to say is, how many followers do you have on Instagram? Right? So when you're dealing with women, you need to be able to be the authority in every area. You can't let her beat you in no area. So if your girl killing it on social media, bruh, you need to be killing it more so than her on social media, right? If your girl is a lawyer, you better be a higher paid lawyer than her. You better be winning more cases, working at a bigger, better law firm. It has to work that way. You can try to negotiate it all you want. Her attraction is not up for negotiation. There's no way your girl gonna be going to the gym every day and in perfect shape, and you got an average body. It ain't gonna work, bro. I'm telling you right now, that's not how women operate mentally. So if you got 5,000 followers on Instagram, you better get you a girl that has 1,000 followers on Instagram or doesn't have Instagram at all. I'm just sorry, it's not gonna work. If your girl's monetizing her looks, bro, you better be monetizing your looks. You better be. And it's like, oh no, but I'm successful in doing all this stuff in this other area. Okay, so then a dude that's less successful than you, but better looking than you is the guy that's gonna be nailing her down. The moment she gets mad at you, that's who she gonna go run off with, and she gonna find a way to blame it on you if she decides to come back. She gonna make it somehow something you did to justify her running off with this dude that she obviously been wanted to mess with, but you know she was in a relationship with you. So she waited until you guys were arguing, and took a break. You see what I'm saying? To go run off with Mr. Good Looking from the gym. So you did it to yourself. So I'm always telling guys, why don't you stop looking at the girls that are asking for the most attention, the girls that live in the spotlight and every picture is a booty shot? Why don't you find that quiet, cute girl that wears glasses, that dresses appropriate? You understand what I'm trying to say? That is obviously looks like a good girl. She might look a little boring, but she's cute as all hell, and she got a banging body under there, but nobody know because she always wearing something that's modest. Well, bruh, that's the girl right there. What's the problem? She got all the same stuff that the other girl got. She just ain't showing it off. Why are you not going for that girl? That girl don't even want that type of attention. She's not comfortable with that type of attention. So if you not comfortable with her getting that type of attention, and she not comfortable with putting herself out there for that type of attention, it sounds like that's the first motherfucking thing y'all got in common. Y'all might like the same movies too. You might like Italian food too. Build a relationship on that. You understand what I'm saying? And stop chasing these girls that were who they were before you met them. Motherfuckers meet a girl that lived with their mom at 28 and then a year later say she's a lazy bitch. It's like, my dude, she's a lazy bitch when you met her. Jesus Christ, bro. You can't be serious. So I just feel like the guys have to be better at choosing, and I'm starting to realize the same reason why these women are terrible at choosing is the same reason why the guys are terrible at choosing.
Yeah.
Because there was no guy, there was no man to sit them down and say, listen, baby girl, you are beautiful, you are special, you ain't got to prove nothing to nobody, you don't have to compete with these girls out here, you don't got to get a boob job, you don't got to do this, you don't got to do that. Any man that is good enough for you is going to love and appreciate you for the values that you have. So those that matter don't care, and those that care don't matter. And explain it to her from the perspective of a father that loves her regardless of whether or not she a bad bitch, regardless of whether or not she got a big booty or whatever the heck it is that is getting the validation on Instagram. And then that same father needs to sit the son down and say, hey, listen, boy, don't be running around with your nose open for these little hoes out here. You understand what I'm saying? Don't get your ass in trouble over these little hoes out here. You need to stay focused. You need to get yourself together, because one day you're going to want a real woman, and you're going to want to be able to provide for that woman. So you got to get yourself situated. You got to become a real man. Have you thought about the Navy? Have you thought about the military? But what are you going to do after high school? What are we going to do about college? You said you don't want to go to college. What trade are you going to pick up? You got to have something that you'll always be able to make money, and ain't no app or no AI going to come and replace you. So what are you going to invest in that you know is going to be a viable skill set in the future? So they need a man to put these type of things on their mind at an early age, because it's not that he's erasing the boy's interest in girls. He's redirecting that motivation, because he's saying you're girl crazy right now, but did you ever think what you're going to do with the girl when you finally get her? What are you going to do with the girl when you get her? You got to be able to provide. You got to be able to create a safe environment. You got to have the skill set and the experience to be the man. So it's like, oh, that's what I got to do to get the pussy? Well, yes, son. Yes, that's what you got to do to get the pussy. But more importantly than getting the pussy is what happens after you get it. There's more to women than just that. Really? Yeah, you'll see that once you finally lose your virginity. You'll see that there's more to it than just that. And you need to be prepared for that. Oh, you see what I'm trying to say? So you got these young boys out here and they're just chasing the girl because they don't know what happens after you actually get the girl. They have no idea. So they're always 3 steps behind the girl. Did she text me back? Did she say yes? What is she like? Why is she with that guy? She didn't respond to me, but she just posted on her story. He's behind the girl. You see what I'm trying to say? Is she going to keep him behind? She's going to keep him in the dark. And the guy that she's going to be attracted to is a guy that's keeping her behind, that's keeping her in the dark. So he's not even behind the girl. He's behind the guy that's in front of the girl. So you way back here because you can't see past her. So we need that man that's going to explain that to these young boys and also explain for them what to look for in women. And you can tell those boys apart. Because the guys that have had that talk and know that difference, those are the guys that come on strong and hard in the beginning, and then they just fizzle out. What's up, girl? What you doing, girl? Hey, what's up, girl? What's up, sexy? What's up? You got a man? Oh, you ain't messing with me? You ain't fucking with me? All right then. And that's the end of that conversation. Because somebody already explained to him, like, yo. She's just a thought, bro. She's just something you just have fun with real quick. So he already knows in his head she's not worth that much effort. But the girl that he knows has those other values, that's the girl that he's walking to class. That's the girl that he's carrying her books. That's the girl that he's like, so when you gonna let me take you out? Oh boy, you know I ain't messing with you. No, girl, it's not even like that. Why you gonna give me He's willing to put all of that into this particular girl. Because he already knows if I actually get it, this one's actually worth it. But the other girls, he just say, yo, what's up? That's it. All right, well, forget you. He's just gonna like her pictures real quick. He's just gonna jump in her DM real quick. She ain't messing with it. Cool. On to the next one. So that's what we need back in our community, because when you don't have that, these guys keep idolizing the girls that aren't worth that much work. They're not worth that much effort. And then when they get that girl, that might be the worst thing that ever happened to them. Because that's the girl that's gonna have you raising another man's child. That's the girl that's gonna be depleting all your resources. That's the girl that's gonna be lying to you about what she need money for. Come on, man.
100%.
Yeah, we got a lot of that going on. So, and I see a lot of guys, it's late in the game for them, but, we here to help them, though. That's the good thing. Small town, New Hemisphere, baby, here I come. Where Instagram doesn't even exist. Instagram exists everywhere, bro. I don't know what you talking about. It's funny too, because when you look at girls on Tinder, when you look at girls on Tinder in like the Philippines and Thailand and stuff like that, it's like, yo, I want to cry for the local dudes, because those girls have absolutely no interest in their own men. They are straight up on Tinder trying to catch a foreign dude, trying to catch a dude in another country, and then you're like, yo, I'm confused. Why are you on here swiping in Miami? Are you coming to Miami? Oh no, I just want to make friend. It's like, yo, bitch, you think I'm stupid? You know what I'm saying? Like, but see, what they're doing is they're taking advantage of how desperate these guys are in the West.
Yeah. Oh wow. Right. So Tinder, you can see people from the Philippines on Tinder.
Yeah. Oh. Well, see, this is what they'll do. They will hustle some guys that are there for some money, and then they'll take that money and go pay for the gold or the platinum level of Tinder that allows them to passport swipe in any country. And then they'll put their profile in all these Western countries, trying to catch them, a lonely ass Western dude, so that they can sit there and go back and forth, on some pen pal shit, go back and forth and pretend to be this good girl and whatever. And then the guy starts falling in love and catching feelings. And next thing you know, he's saving up his money, talking about, I'm gonna fly you to America, or I'm gonna come out there to see you. And then, bro, got him.
Yeah.
And they're taking advantage of men's weakness and their loneliness and their desperateness. It's like, oh, this guy just got out of a divorce? Okay, I'm going to take advantage of him. He's vulnerable right now. So,
yeah.
Somebody got to look out for these guys, bro. Primal Studies, thanks. I was wondering what's up. Primal Studies is in here? I don't know what's going on. I'm not sure. All right, these guys are having conversations amongst themselves. All right, well, listen, I'm going to let you go. Get ready for your next thing.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a good conversation.
Yeah, likewise. I really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll do it again while we're still young. Yeah, but you need to reach out to Six, or Six need to reach out to you. That would be awesome. And I got another young lady that's checking out your stuff. She has a channel, so maybe you guys get together in the future. Have her on one of your female panels, your lady panels.
Yeah.
And yeah, the guys are loving it though. The guys are feeling you, and I'm like, okay, good. That's what I planned on seeing when I saw your stuff. I said, guys are gonna love this.
Thank you. I appreciate all the support.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, we're out of here. Thank you for watching, for being in the chat, for being supportive and interactive and all that other stuff. All right, we'll catch you guys on the next one. All right?
Bye.
Peace. Thank you.